Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope you're having a nice whatever it is, wherever you are. You might notice fairly quickly that my stream, like my voice probably sounds a bit different. This isn't really secret information if you watch the streams often, but I've been in the process of moving lately, and that's all been set up at my new place. The thing is, my current apartment is very empty, so it's very echoey in here, so that's probably coming through on the microphone quite a bit. This is kind of going to be like a test stream to try and get some things worked out before Wednesday. Hell yeah. I actually deliberately paused there because I knew that was coming. I am playing the Roses from the Abyss, but it's interrupted by Gulfagor at random. Okay, sorry. I was a little distracted there, making sure that I stopped talking for that. Anyways, so there's some stuff that's going to have to be worked out in terms of the audio levels and things like that for the streams and trying to minimize the echo. Like I said, it's very empty in here right now, so I imagine the echo is probably really bad. I was messing with some stuff earlier to try and reduce it. It didn't really work, at least not without massively sacrificing the quality of my voice. So it just kind of sucks. I'm going to have to find some solution to it, but ideally it should be noticeable. I can only hope this doesn't cause me unforeseen problems, but because my internet here is faster, we've upped the stream bitrate again, so ideally if you're watching in 1080p, it should look better. Let me go ahead and, Warframe? Okay, that was strange. Wow, that was quick. Remember to tell chat to dislike the stream. That's a good point, actually. But the stream's hardly even started. How can you know if you don't like it yet? Funny Bone Widow tech? Do tell, Sci-Fi. Was on the damn moon? You know, it happens. It happens. Fuck, who made today's live reaction? I keep forgetting to write it down. It was made by... all I can see is in the Discord they're named Singularity's Strongest Soldier. I don't think that's their real name, but that's what they're gonna have to go off of, I guess. I already hit the dislike button. Damn. Gonna make a meme out of it? You know, fair enough. So everyone, to start off the stream, we have an extremely invigorating activity. I'm low on syndicate standing. I switched my syndicate half a while back to the syndicates I don't normally use in order to get their titles when they released those. And I never finished leveling up my normal half again when I switched back. And of course, we have some new augments coming out soon. Let's slam the pause on the table. Look, the thumbnail is that specific image because I know that if anyone understands it, it's elite ball knowledge. That's the entire point. I'm not even gonna lie. I just thought it would be funny. I know Kome. Yeah, it's Kome, Noko, Dante, and who the fuck am I forgetting? I'm having a moment because it's Noko's 3, Dante's 1, Kome's 1, Temple. Yeah, right. Thank you. In the chat, Temple with the Overguard augment. Right. Anyways, man, this is really invigorating. This is really exciting. I will say with you all as well, just kind of while we're here, again, I'm sorry if the audio quality is grating. I'm going to have to watch this back. I've done some test recordings, and I feel like it's been kind of inconclusive, because when I know that I'm testing, I just don't talk the same way. So I'm just like, you know what, we'll just go all in and work with it from there. But I haven't really been, like, streaming or posting a ton lately, and I mean that's been for a lot of reasons, but I'll be honest with you all, that has been fixed. I'll have to look into that, because I know I've had it triggered somewhat recently, but I guess I can't remember exactly when. I'll have to look and see if it is finally gone. That shit was in the game for ages. But with Warframe lately, I'm gonna be honest, it feels like we've been in a 6-month content drought, and I've just kind of like gotten bored of playing the game. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't like the game. Obviously, I still enjoy Warframe. I still log on pretty often, but I just don't really have the desire to, like, talk about it a ton or make things about it as much as normal, because there isn't really that much for me to do. Like, Foley's update released one new game mode, the Guilty, which, to be fair, is probably my favorite mission in the entire game, and a new Warframe and a new weapon. It really didn't contain that much stuff, and so it feels to me, like, mentally, like we've gotten almost nothing since the release of the old piece. Like, we've had a few minor things, right? We got, obviously, the Shadowgrapher, we got Varuna Prime access, stuff like that, but it's, I don't know. Okay, thanks, game. I was going to continue anyway, but it just made the decision for me. But it just kind of feels like nothing's really been going on. And, like, I get that for most people, this is hardly, like, an issue, I imagine, because I'm, you know, in such a high playtime bracket, you know, high loser bracket, that I don't have a ton to do and most other people would, because, like, there's a billion things you could do in this game. But I haven't, I don't know, I haven't really felt the desire to play much. And it sucks because, like, I feel like I'm hitting, like, a block with my writing and stuff as I work on videos. Because whenever I'm working on videos, I feel like I keep hitting this wall of, like, just not really feeling... How do I put this? I'm not feeling like I'm doing well with the things that I'm trying to write, I guess. Like, when I'm trying to write a video or something like that, it feels like I'm hitting this wall of just, like, disinterest. Where it's like, I'm not so, like, invested in the game at the moment that it feels natural for me to go on about this stuff. At least beyond, like, the very basic ideas. And it's kind of frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of frustrating. But a Sirius and Orion augment work? I mean, they could take, like, the Equinox playbook if it just affecting both of them. And motivation. The super boss guides were draining. I'm not gonna lie to you. The super boss guides were draining. Update is tomorrow. Yeah, I'm hoping that it helps to, like, breathe life into things for me. But the super boss guides were one of those things where, like, I made them because I wanted to make them, not because people wanted to watch them. But I ain't gonna lie to you all. People really did not want to watch that shit. You mod them separately? I suppose that's true. Well, I mean, you could have the same augment affect both forms, but then make it so you can opt to equip it on both of them or only one of them. Like, say, for example, you have an augment for the one. You would have to equip it on both, but the same augment, you know, can apply to both frames. I don't know. It'd be kind of weird. Time to relive Conclave. I think it'd be really fun to do another Conclave stream. I did one a really long time ago. It was fun in, like, the ironic sense, you know? Man, my affinity gain has been really bad. I think I'm just being really inefficient. I mean, these tiles aren't, like, terrible, but they're not great. There's one particular series tile that's, like, 3 feet across that is phenomenal for this kind of thing. Ouch. Okay, I guess the game just chose for me again. That's cool. Part of the game yet? Do a hot take tier list. We gotta combine every slop idea I could possibly have. I see the vision. I see the vision. I see the shoes. Dude, that stupid fucking video is getting stuck in my head again. I have... What do people call it? It's like a vocal stim. I feel like I'm co-opting that term if I use it. But I'll just have times where I just get stuck repeating something I saw in a video. It just randomly enters my brain. I see that thumbnail. Yeah, anyone who's aware of the thumbnail's meaning knows ball. Cool kid video tier list. I will say, I did talk with Sab earlier today. I was helping, so Sci-Fi was recording some footage, and he, Sab, and I hung out for like an hour or two. And Sab has said that he'd be down to be a guest on the Hot Take series, which I think will be a lot of fun. Will Metro be joining us? No, he is asleep. But I think that Sab... I would wager he'll probably be the next guest, but it kind of depends on how things work out, like if one of us ends up getting busy. Because the next Hot Takes episode will be out this month. I just want to do at least one more video. Old Railjack, though? Yeah, that's fair. For spoiler and spoiler. This is the wrong game. That's true, Avery. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I low-key debated doing a stream just titled Evil Warframe stream, and the game I was actually playing was Destiny. But, no, we gotta do the weekly sloth grind. Yeah, I will say when it comes to, like, I feel like the thing I'm gonna try and nail down next is probably the game mode tier list. We have to run Gordon soon. Isn't he a boss in Pantheon? I guess I don't know. I was talking about that because I want to get a threat level, and I found out it drops from Insurrection Prime, and I'm like, well, fuck my life. I have to scrounge up people to try and do this with now. I think we'll just pick his encounter soon. Splendid. Did you see? Yeah, I saw that Latrox is going to be just a crew member, which honestly, that shit is peak, dude. He finally escaped. Am I not? Oh, no, I am done. Hold on, I gotta stop killing shit. I'm dumb as hell. I doubt it will happen. Rebecca's already said it will. He mentioned that, like, the remnants of the third orb should leave lore for us. You were here? Welcome. I just realized that I had a Nightwave challenge for this, but I could not give a fuck less. We are not finishing that bitch. Like defection. The conduit is closing fast. For a few runs. Yeah, I would, if they make it so you can just grind Insurrection Prime for threat level, I'd like to do it. I do miss Insurrection Prime. I enjoyed that raid. Yeah, I will say, like, my current thought as well is how much time do I talk about each game mode? Like, I think I've counted up, there's, like, somewhere between 30 and 40 game modes. And so it's like, how long do I talk about each game mode? Because if each mode gets, like, a page, that's going to be a pretty long video, to put it lightly. But there are some that I just kind of naturally have more thoughts on than others. Like, Exterminate, I think, is like the platonic ideal of a B-tier game mode in this game, honestly. It's simple, straightforward objective. It's fun because you just kill shit. It's got the caches, so you can have the optional element of exploration if you want. I think it's just overall a good thing for that game mode to be like the baseline, and I kind of want to go from there. So I won't have a ton to say about it. But when you get into like Foley's Hunt, I have a lot of shit I could say about Foley's Hunt. Having camera offset. Honestly, I'm not super familiar with the whole deal about Null Warden. I never have, like, used it much. What does this button do? Hi, cool kid. Thank you for the 9 months of membership. I also will say, I'm not gonna lie, I do think Void Cascade is gonna go into S tier, personally. Because this is something Sab brought up when we were talking, and I completely agree with him on it. Fun and profitability are both things that need to be elements of why a game mode is on, like, a high tier. Like, if a game mode is really fun but really unrewarding, it's gonna naturally feel bad to play. And if a game mode is really rewarding but not very fun, it's also going to feel bad to play. So it's a matter of, like, balancing the two, right? In terms of, like, is it fun and is it profitable? Those are, like, the two metrics. But then it's also, like, how do you quantify fun? Another thing I think is important is the game mode engaging? Like, does it require the player to actually play the mode, or is it something where you can kind of just, like, you don't really do anything? Like, if you look at, like, Mobile Defense, for example, Mobile Defense isn't very rewarding, and it's not very engaging. Once you upload the thing to the console, on many frames you can just fucking stand there, right? I also think Capture is a pretty shit game mode, because it's not very engaging. You kill the guy and then you leave. There's no dynamic way to actually approach the mode, and there's not really much to do in it, right? The thing about Capture, though, is Mobile Defense is not profitable. Capture is profitable. That's the thing with it, is that, like, if you're doing it for relics and stuff, Capture is one of the game's fastest modes, or if you're grinding relics or something. So it's like, I try to have to, like, find the balance. We can use our Railjacks on solo. Salios, I told you I saw the video. I'm aware of that. But yeah, I will say, though, that I think that DE's aversion to letting you, like, host things in Railjack is really annoying, just in general. So much more engaging. Dude, Legasite Harvest, to me, is so close to being an S-tier game mode. But they gave the Legasite some of the most fucking cancer abilities imaginable. Like, I love the idea. Okay, so for those who don't know, Legasite Harvest has a really cool concept. Every time that you kill a Legasite in Harvest 1, the next Legasite gains a new ability from a pool of, like, 20 of them. So there are a bunch of abilities that they can unlock. And I think that plenty of them affect the experience of fighting the Legasite considerably. But then you have shit like they are able to use Nidus's parasitic link, and they'll link to you, and then you'll shoot them and instantly kill yourself. And that's just not fun, and it's not fair. Or they have Aqua Blades, which will chain stagger you, often to death if you get close to them. It's like, some of these abilities were not thought through at all, I feel like. There's so many that I think are cool and interesting, like the Legocyte's ability to, like, cause tentacles to emerge from the ground, or the Arctic bubble that it can spawn that forces you to approach it. Like, stuff like that is cool. But then it just has some abilities where it's like, why the fuck did they give them this? I don't know, it's annoying. And I'll be honest, like, Legocytes aren't tanky enough that it matters in a lot of content. But if you're in, like, Archimedia or something, that's when I think it gets annoying in terms of, like, I don't know. That's when it starts to grate on me, of, like, I'm about to crash out. Why did this guy link to me and kill me instantly? God damn it, dude. I need to learn to start shutting my fucking email notifier off. I forgot again. Fuck you. Go to hell. Disable all notifications. Anyways. Annoying sometimes. Yeah, like I said, there's cool stuff there, and this is going to be an insane take. I'm willing to acknowledge this up front. The ETA modifier, Parallel Evolution, is such a cool idea, but again, the cancer abilities make it suck. So for those who don't know, Parallel Evolution is a modifier for Legocyte Harvest, where randomly, like random infested enemies will also gain abilities alongside the Legocytes. I think this is awesome, and I think it's genuinely really fun. Which I think is where, you know, the controversial part of that statement comes in. I know a lot of people really do not find it fun to have the abilities tied to random infested units. And I will say, if an infested enemy has access to abilities, I think that they should be able to, they should have some visual indication of that. But it's such a cool idea, to the point where I kind of wished that it was just a thing, like, in the regular missions, to have the evolution mechanic be more prominent. The problem is, when you see, like, a MOA spawn Aqua Blades, dude, I'm gonna blow my shit smooth off. I got a bunch of weekly shit I could do. Let's go pay a visit to the mall. In general, yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I wish that there was more expansion of the modifiers, not just to Archimedia. I wish that I could opt into them, like, in other environments. For like a split second, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't see any issue on my end. Distance health tanking on Gauss. Immune type. Okay, I'm not saying this to be a dick, I swear. Doesn't Gauss's 2 with full battery make you immune to IPS anyways? Like, I guess I don't really follow why persistence is entering the picture, especially because Gauss can also make himself literally immortal with his passive in Arcane Aegis, right? For one hit. Well, if his 4 is active and it's locked at 100%, then I'm pretty sure that he's just immune to it until his 4 runs out, right? Hold on, I should probably just actually go talk to Kaya.
Fellow time traveler.
Can you flashbang us, please? Hold up, yep. On it. Flashing lights warning.
So fun.
Is it on this shelf? Yep. What a weird detail that this exists, dude. Think about Force Diversity and Captain 369. Wrong rant Sona, Evelyn. Wrong rant Sona. The problem with Force Diversity was the Dishonored Wolf. Here in this house, we are repping Achilles Argyle's Why We Need Racism. Wrong rant Sona. Malls are so empty. It's honestly like, what's the term? I think the feeling is called canopsia. We're going to a place after hours and that's normally really, like, populated. It's just fucking weird, dude. Dude, all of this is, like, bad, but not so bad that I don't think it's unworkable. I'm so sick of defense appearing, dude. This has been, like, what, 2 straight months of it always being in the rotation? Can this mode fuck off, please? Agreed, miasma. That shit was fire. Femboy son or Foy daughter? Is Foy daughter not an oxymoron? I don't understand. I think I'm gonna take Ash. I think Ash is the, all those epileptic viewers. Can people with epilepsy even, like, watch a stream like this? I'm not saying this to be rude. Like, could people with that condition handle a game like Warframe? I genuinely don't know. I was gonna say, anyone with epilepsy, you know, let me know, but I'm pretty sure I just filtered all of them out, so... Shit, dude, maybe I don't have that resource now.
Wanna ask me about a thing?
No, hold on. I'm getting hung up on this. Is it not that the redirect... I'm pretty sure that the amount of damage you actually resist is tied to battery, is it not? Hold on, fuck it. I'm looking this up, dude. Now I'm starting to second-guess myself. Kinetic plating. Can I type? I'm entirely unkillable. So I assume it's just to generate the energy, like, with the conversion to trigger quick thinking. But I don't know. I'm not, like, saying this to be rude. I feel like this is a lot of... It's a lot of over-engineering. I think I see what you mean, though, in terms of, like, using it to fuel quick thinking.
I wonder if Allie and Nah.
The Aegis bug. I honestly wonder if they'll ever fix that. You know, the funny thing, too, is the Aegis bug isn't exclusive to Gauss. As far as I'm aware, you can do it on anyone. It's just that Gauss's passive makes it super easy. Require MR17? That's so fucked. I'm so sorry for you. Is Chroma Grim?
Hey, it's no Larunda relay.
Activates the Aegis bug? Yeah, because I know there's a specific threshold you have to reach for shield recharge delay.
Just glittery nostalgia.
To actually trigger it.
Okay, get your loadout ready because once you're locked in,
You always take high score on the last mission so I don't choke and fucking die. Who's assisting? Velimir? Or why not? Just equip some bullshit, dude. Who fucking cares? Prime sure-footed? Huge DPS increase. What is the Aegis bug? As far as I'm aware, the simple version of it is that if you get high enough shield regen, I think it's you have to cross like over 100%, which normally isn't possible, but I believe if you do it while Aegis is active, it just fucking breaks and your shield never stops recharging. It's more complicated than that. To be honest, I'm just not super familiar with it off the top of my head because I don't abuse it. I'm simply aware of it. Also, the fact that they've never fixed the bike damaging you on the way in is shocking.
As many eyes on it as Flair's concert is going to twist up the timeline, like...
To buy it,
whoa.
Damn.
Make sure they keep
I'm gonna be honest, I like the MR requirements just in general feel pretty dated to me. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I gotta break the online orb. Me pondering my shit. Dude, just deploy everything. I don't even fucking care. Stalker? Yeah, he's invited. Clem? Dude, Roller Spectre? Yeah, more deer. More deer. All the deer. All at the same time. All at the same time. The gang's all here. I still think it's so lame that they get rid of the vocals after you progress to the like rounds past the first 3. Awful decision, if you ask me. That should be MR locked. Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I understand MR locking stuff like conceptually, but I feel like some of the MR locks feel very dated. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you all. I feel like MR locking the Coda weapons, like, to 17 feels really high because, like, some of them are very good, don't get me wrong, like Sporothrix and stuff, obviously. But are they highest MR lock in the game levels of high? Especially with MR 17, like, that takes a minimum of 2.5 weeks to reach. That's a long time. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. It's also the same thing with, like, why is auto-installing Ayatan stars an MR-based thing? I mean, implying they haven't changed that, but I've never heard of them changing it. There are things like helmets. Helmets should be MR locked. 100% helmets should be MR locked. I think that's completely fair. You should not be able to access helmets right away. I got a DM from Robin saying, "Stop streaming at midnight, I have a job and I can't torture you." That's fair. She called me the F slur in that message too, but I can't read that on YouTube, though she's completely right. I'll own that. I'm no coward. Dude, I've mentioned this before, I think. But it's like, if someone called me the F slur in real life, I genuinely don't know how I'd react, because I'm so, like, used to my friends and I using that word, like, as a joke, because we're all gay. It's like, dude, if someone said that, I'd be like, hell yeah, brother. That's my current thought process. If someone hits you with that word, like, in real life, I'd just be like, hell yeah, brother. That's the current plan. That's the current plan. Admitting your ops are right is a sign of maturity. Dude, sometimes shit's just factual. I don't know what you want from me. If my op pulls up and they're like, "You're looking pretty gay, cool kid," it's like, fuck.
So many lives
That's true.
changed track because of this one event.
What am I supposed to do, argue? That's fucking stupid. They're right, dude. They have the receipts. There's nothing I can do about that. Oh, that got fucked by that slash proc. Oh my god. Holy shit. Dude, my frames are so bad in this area. He's my name most of the time. That's dark. Can't level. Yeah, I agree with you there. That, like, Warframes specifically are basically excluded from it until you're MR 30 is really weird. I hope they fix the frames. I think they said that they were doing like another pass on the performance in Holvania, if memory serves, but man, this tile has just always performed so insanely bad. Dude, I hate Miasmite Mash because it fucks with your minimap so much. Like, where's the last guy? Sorry, your minimap is not a reliable source of information now. I don't know where I am. I'm sorry. I got another Discord DM from Robin, but I shouldn't have looked at it because it was the fucking Umamusume armpit gif. I swear to fucking God, dude. I swear to fucking God. Maybe I need to block his page. Maybe that's what has to happen. Give me GT. Yeah, I have a 3080, and it tanks pretty hard here. Who the fuck is left? You? Fuck you. Look, don't worry. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's best you don't ask. For a reason. The Duviri. As in, like, ones you can get from the circuit? Or as, like, ones you earn from the Duviri? I guess I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Let me see. No, you cannot see the... Are you fucking for real right now, dog? No, you cannot see the GIF. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, circuit. Honestly, I'd like them to, because isn't the cutoff Hildren? I think that's right, isn't it, that Hildren is the last frame in the system? I think that's correct. I'd have to double check. The question is, like, certain frames have, like, specific acquisition methods. So it's like, say you put Grendel into the system, now there's no reason to do his missions. Like, if he's in rotation, it is just way easier to get him that way when he has a very specific acquisition method. I don't know. I think that the circuit was a great solution for certain really hard to, like, or annoying to grind frames. Like, Oberon, Ash, and, you know, those lakes. But, I think that expanding it brings the question of, like, how much of the rest of the game are we interfering with, I guess. Every frame up to filter and minus... Okay, hold on. What the fuck is my stream layout doing? This is so dark. Dude, I need to find out how to disable this stupid fucking auto-translate thing that Google has enabled. So this person just said Mesa in circuit. It's auto-translated to the table is round. Are we for real? At Grok. What the fuck does this mean? In transport systems? Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. You ever attempted the SP Grendel missions? One of the... I think it was my second ever stream was me doing them, yeah. So, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're not nearly as hard now, as far as I'm aware. They did get nerfed. And Eximus units, I think, were just scarier back then. But, yeah, one of my first ever streams was the SP Grendel missions, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Octavia makes them a fucking joke. The fact that she scales with the damage of enemies, the table do be around. Okay, I see the chat is having a good time with that, I guess. Dude, I need to stop looking at Discord. I just get afraid. I see that I have a notification over there, and I look, and it's like, it could be another gift. You never know. Since Fulkid is streaming, it's probably better to just go to sleep. You don't have to think about the fact that I exist. Also, I mentioned this already, but I think I've decided I am going to move forward with setting up multi-streaming and trying to get things integrated on Twitch. That's going to be a little more complicated than I thought in terms of, like, okay, well, I need to set up, like, integrations between the two. I need to find a way to get the chat to sort of be unified between them. I'm going to be honest with you all, and I might run, like, a poll on this or something. A big problem for me with multi-streaming is the chat, because I don't want to respond to messages that one platform can't see because they're from the other platform. The problem is... the only solution I can think of is to put a chat overlay on my screen. And I take some pride that my stream layout is fairly simple. It's the live reaction and the dickandnuts.com, and I guess the ant. Like, it's not particularly complicated, and I feel like a lot of streamers really over-engineer it. Like, I'm playing the video game. I want the video game to be most of my screen. But if I have a chat overlay, that's just more clutter. Ooh, a red shard and a universal fallout. Actually, very good first round. The ant? Yeah, the ant. Hold up. The ant. He's on top of the live reaction. The ant's party hat. Yeah, we need to drip the ant out more, honestly.
So, Marty.
Ouch.
You came here through the helmet, right? Bonkers idea. What if Tekrot is entangled with
259 enemies. It's sealed armor too, dude. Fuck off.
When you take out a whole bunch at once. Go.
You know what? We're just gonna deal enough damage that I don't have to care.
You really want to risk pissing it off?
Marty McFlea. Bring back the Fault Finder stream overlay. Okay. Are you telling me, look me in my homosexual eyes and tell me this is what you want to see? Because that's not even the original thing. It's this. Look me in the eyes and tell me this is what you want to watch. Dude, you can't even see the goddamn game. How viewable is this? How viewable is this? I'm not, like, now that I'm in the mission, dude, I see a lot of yes and a lot of no. Where am I? What am I doing? People don't know. People don't know. Dude, I could switch to a different game and you'd have no fucking idea. You'd actually have no fucking idea. Here are the no. It is mostly yes. I won't lie to you there. But I disagree with the chat on this one, I think. I'm entertained wherever I look. Yeah, it's like that when I was doing the original stream, someone said, like, what am I looking at? I'm like, brother, there's a lot of things to look at. You're gonna have to narrow it down. Oh, that's so cancer. Man, I really like this modifier. Competitive streak is really fun and balanced, and I'm glad that it's in the game. Look at these motherfuckers. Oh my god, the corrupted flesh is active too, isn't it? I didn't even process that. Dude, actually fuck this mission. Oh my god. What gave you the idea to put 369 in your username? I don't know. I genuinely don't remember. I made this username when I was 9. I'm not kidding when I say that. I genuinely have no fucking idea where the 369 came from. It's been so long, I just don't remember. Oh wait, are Colin them already dead because of the corrupted flesh? Dude, fuck. This is gonna be a slow process. Genuinely no idea. The thing is, it's like, I can't go back from it now, right? Like, I'll be honest, I probably should have thought up a different name when I decided I was going to post YouTube videos. But I didn't expect anyone to actually watch the iceberg. I was mostly just making it because I wanted to, like, release a video like it. So I was like, oh, I'll just use my username I've been using. And, like, I'll be honest. I don't think I can come back from this name, even beyond the content thing, because so many of my friends know me as Cool Kid. Like, I know several people who have changed their usernames, and all of their friends just call them their old username. It's like there's really nothing I can do to go back from that. Disabled energy orbs. Cool. Dude, this mission is so dog shit. Get that guy away from me. Is he gone? Well, someone exploded over there. What the fuck? Transference distortion. Yeah, nightmare scenario. I hope that DE revisits Archimedia one day and, like, updates it to maybe be a little less cancer, but I know they're not going to. Dude, disable health orbs? Fuck off. Okay, for those who don't know, competitive streaks modifiers lie to you. When it says disabled health orbs, that's actually disable all health regeneration for 1 whole minute. Same with disable energy orbs. You actually cannot gain energy, period, from all sources. It's really cancer. 3 numbers. Fair enough, fair enough. Dude, I'm getting jumped, I'm just gonna have to rely on the Sicarus at this point, I think. At least to some extent. Ash is just really slow with the weak points in the Guardian Eximus units entering the mix. I don't like this at all. You guys think I can actually just summon my boy, Scholar Hoministiori? My goat. My glorious king. Can bypass that, actually. Interesting that Lifesteal can. All I know is this modifier is fucking cancer. No cash crash this week. At least there's that. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like we've just had a lot of really annoying ETAs, mostly because defense keeps appearing in it. But Hummus Scholar, true. People aren't woke up right now. Wrong. Dude, I like to think, as I've been playing Destiny, I like to think that, like, channeling the darkness is like becoming dark woke. I think that's a good interpretation of the game's narrative. Actually, I'm not depositing this. And activating the cache actually makes the mission harder. So I'm just letting it blow up. I don't give a fuck. This is going to be annoying enough. I think Scholar Hoministiori stood in the sludge and died. Mom brought home the sludge.
So, you want all this tech rod
Dark Walker Light Shud?
And recycled. More applicable.
Pissed myself in fears. What? Oh, it's the waypoint overload one. I was like, what bullshit? I look away from a monitor for 1 fucking second. Dude, this mission sucks. This is so boring. I feel like I have to play really carefully because of the presence of Toxin Eximus units. It's slow because of sealed armor. It's slow because of corrupted flesh. They really just created the worst mission. Chat GPT, generate me a mission that Cool Kid will hate. Ass fucking mission, dude. Holy shit. Ow. The most reasonable. I will say this, like, people act like DE never updates things, but I just don't think is true. But it depends on the content a lot. Like, you look at Angels of the Zeraman. Angels of the Zeraman had echoes of the Zeraman. Duviri had echoes of Duviri and 7 Crimes of Pillarvo. And stuff like that. Like, several updates have gotten follow-ups like that. But for some reason, in the last couple years especially, they've kind of been moving away from Echoes updates. And I don't like that at all. I feel like the Echoes updates were a great opportunity for them to try and iterate and, like, refine content they had released. And the fact that we don't really get it anymore, like, Tekrot Encore, I think, was the last, like, Echo-style update, like, a year ago. We haven't really gotten anything in that same vein since, and I think that's kind of lame. Dude, is there anywhere on the floor that is not covered in slime? It's like I'm fighting the... Please don't give me no health regen. Oh, dude, if I got no health regen there, I would have actually been fucked. I would have actually been fucked. I would have just straight up died. Okay. Back to the mission, I guess. Being slimed up right now live. Dude, it's like I'm on a fucking Nickelodeon show. What the fuck? Okay, that's not true. I haven't, had my feet center frame yet. But, the slime is characteristic of that. That's the one thing the comparison I'm drawing here. Like Tauron Strikes. Yeah, the fact that we didn't get an Echoes of the Old Peace update is wild to me. Okay, I need to go on like a minor rant about something real quick. The fact that Tauron Strikes have gone almost entirely unchanged since their release upsets me greatly, and the way that Pablo talked about it, I think, was really weird. So, do these dumbass sound effects. So, Tauron Strikes come out. Plenty of criticisms about them, right? They take a long time to charge. They take an absurd amount of time to grind. They're not super impactful, aside from, like, the operator modding. Not great. And the response from Pablo about that, when he was talking about it on a dev stream, was we kind of expected that the Tauron Strikes wouldn't be super helpful for late-game players because they already are so powerful. So we wanted the strike itself to be, like, emphasized in the mid-game. And then we wanted the operator modding to be the main benefit for later game players. And to that I say, what the fuck kind of mid-game player is grinding to max them? Like, seriously, it takes so long to max a Tauron Strike, and all of the perks that you can upgrade it, like, in the focus tree, are for the strike itself. Like, what? What kind of mid-game player is spending 8 to 10 hours to fully max out a fucking Tauron Strike? And even worse, there are Tauron Strikes that are good for veteran players. They don't just have to nuke things, they just have to be interesting. Like, look at Farah and Nidri. I would argue those are the two best strikes. Farah and Nidri both bring interesting stuff to the table that make them interesting to use at all levels of play. Farah, because its rain of arrows, like even just aside from its arrows being strong on the strike itself, its persistent effect can be triggered by any source of damage, which lets you turn non-damage abilities into damage abilities for a duration, which is really interesting. Or if you look at Nidri can revive your teammates. It's the only thing in the game that can do that. So there's a really interesting application for it there at all levels of play. But the other Tauron Strikes don't really have that same level of usefulness. And I think that it's really weird to me that, like, the rationale was like, oh yeah, once you unlock the strike, it's not really supposed to be that good at high levels, right? We want you to focus more on the operator modding. Like, why? And also, on top of that, just sort of beyond that, I also just want to mention real quick, Tauron Strikes are from the Old Peace, which are at the end of the game. Like, it's the final quest currently, so I don't know what's up with that either. But the Humble XP, I mean, revive them back from total death, I should clarify. Disabled health, okay. I need to be careful. If I get fire orbed again, I'm actually fucking dead. I'm actually fucking dead. I have to move through this room like I'm playing Ready or Not, dude. I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay. Need updates. Okay, I want to say this. That's an extrapolation that I think isn't really fair. Like, for example, in the next update, they're updating the Uranus defense tile, which has been complained about for many years. DE doesn't just abandon things and literally never update them. But I think that sometimes the rationale for why they're not updating them is weird. Because it's like, I also want to make it clear, I don't think that the other 3 Tauron Strikes are bad. Necessarily, right? But I feel like they don't offer enough interesting stuff. Because, like, yes, Lorak, Kogron, and Vexoric can all kill enemies, right? I mean, they scale with level. Of course they can kill enemies. They don't struggle with that necessarily. The problem for me is that it's like, just killing shit isn't enough. Not by itself. But we've seen other interesting stuff that's not directly just killing shit that's useful at all levels for the other strikes. But it feels like Urpathara and Nidri, I should probably clarify those two specifically. So it's like, for me, it's like, why aren't we trying to move this more for the others? And I also feel like, when it comes to the Tauron strike specifically, so sort of back on the original topic here real quick. So Pablo talked about that on the dev stream. There was still people talking about how Tauron strikes needed to be updated. So their response, and this just floors me to this day, is that Pablo said they were going to look at it in the Shadow Grapher. The Shadow Grapher comes out, there are no changes to the Tauron strikes. If you read the patch notes, it says in the patch notes something to the effect of, we will evaluate future changes to the Tauron strike system based on their usage in the Guilty. This has to be genuinely one of the worst metrics you could possibly pick for evaluating the effectiveness of Tauron strikes. Because 1, most players will not play the Guilty, and 2, it gives you free ones constantly. No shit people are gonna spam them in the Guilty. You get one like every 2 fucking minutes. And most players are not going to play the Guilty because it's too hard for them. Why aren't we evaluating the effectiveness of Tauron strikes based on, like, their usage in the rest of the game? Or the average amount of time it takes for people to earn one? Like, there are better metrics for this. Why is that the thing that you chose? And I'm gonna be honest with you all, it feels to me like on some level, I genuinely just think Pablo doesn't want to change them, and they're just providing kind of limp-wristed excuses for why they're not doing it. Because it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where if they just said we think they're fine and we're not planning on changing them for that reason, I'd disagree, but it'd be like, okay. But what's with this, like, I don't know, bizarre half measure of like, oh, we'll evaluate them based on their usage in the Guilty. What a fucking bizarre metric to pick. Genuinely, what a bizarre metric. I don't know. Most people are not going to be using Tauron strikes, you know, in the Guilty because they're not going to get to the Guilty. And if they have, then they're going to spam them because they're given to them constantly. I really don't understand what the fuck the idea, like the thought process was there. Can I get a transponder, please? Dude, I have kind of shit weapons for this. I guess I have Sicarus. That'll work. Even unlock. I mean, it's not even just that it requires a specific Warframe. The Guilty's just so hard, most people aren't even going to bother unlocking it, even if they can. An Exploder. Yeah, like, that's actually a good comparison. Imagine if all of the balancing around heavy weapons, when they released, like the grounded version of heavy weapons released, imagine if their balancing was decided exclusively by their usage in Profit Taker, the content that they were added alongside. That doesn't make any sense. It's like there's a rest of the game you can take these things into. Why would you be evaluating it exclusively based on that? I don't know. I think that DE is generally quite receptive to feedback. Like, you look at the things after Dante got nerfed, for example, they walked back basically every major nerf that they had done or massively improved things. Oh, I had a Toxin proc. Ooh, that's scary. But, like, I think that DE is generally pretty receptive to criticism when it comes to that stuff. With, like I said, the nerfs to Dante and things like that, where they were willing to walk a lot of that stuff back. Or, like, you look at the recent thing with, like, Styanax's helmet, we'll have a coinless option for people who don't want it. Like, the poncho that was added for Mesa. Like, it feels like there's, generally speaking, DE, I think, is fairly good at listening to community feedback. But then you have stuff like this where it's just, like, it feels so wishy-washy, I guess, in terms of their actual justification. And it's like, honestly, if you just don't think it needs changed, I feel like you should just tell us it doesn't fucking need changed. I don't know. You get what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna say this. There is an adage that I think is generally fair in terms of, like, players are usually right about the problem, but they're usually wrong about how to fix it. And, like, I think that, generally speaking, if a lot of players are telling you that there's a problem, that's a fair thing to at least investigate. Because as far as I'm aware, from what... Oh, it's Toxic Tank? Oh, shit, I'm kind of stupid, Loki. Why does he have the Apex Tank get up? Okay. But, Fab told me that there was some post from Pablo regarding, like, no plans to change Equinox. which fortunately Rebecca herself has said that she's planning on playing Equinox to evaluate her effectiveness. So we at least have that lifeline. But it's like, why just shut the idea of evaluating her down? Like, people have been asking for changes to Equinox for ages. Not because she's, like, weak by the numbers, but because she just isn't fun. In the most endgame content? Yeah, pretty much. It never happened. Look, I feel like some people are extrapolating up to an extent that's kind of unfair. I think that DE generally has much better communication than basically any other development studio.
What did you do?
Normally speaking, like, I think DE does a good job of communicating their intention behind changes, listening to community feedback. Generally, that's something that they do well, and there's a lot of, like, historic precedent for that. The problem is that I feel like sometimes they choose really bizarre hills to die on, and I don't get it. Like, I don't know. The Equinox thing also especially bothers me, because like I said, I feel like she's in such dire need of help, but it... Like, okay, maybe this is a weird take. Is Pablo just done with reworks at this point? Like, the last full rework we got was in Noko's update. It's been a while. I'm starting to get worried that he doesn't think anyone else needs one. Knight's having, like, a minor rework, I guess, but... I don't know, dude. I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it. Why they don't want to change him. Yeah, same with Pablo's thread about raids. I think Pablo's thread about raids was a very articulate explanation as to why he does not think they should return, right? In terms of, like, here's why I don't think that this would be good for the game or why it wouldn't work. And I think that that's completely fair, right? Like, and I agree that we shouldn't bring back raids. I agree with most of his post. But... Ooh, ow. That was a viral proc. Do I have any stacks of high score? I do. I have 2. Okay, I wanted to make sure that if I was to die because of the tank's toxin attacks, I wouldn't insta-fail. Not what I meant to do. It's insane. Yeah, I also want to say for someone who asked, Rebecca is just going to be playing Equinox as she's recovering from her surgery in July. I believe that's what she said. So it's not like she's, like, doing a bunch of testing. She just wants to play the frame to see if she can get a feel for why people are saying the things they are. Make a frame more popular. That was a rationale he had before, but I don't really know if it still holds true. Like, we had a golden age of, like, a lot of reworks for a while, but I don't know, because there are still plenty of frames that I think deserve at least another pass, like Banshee, Equinox, Chroma. There are plenty of frames that deserve another look, but it kind of feels like we're not getting them anymore, and I think that's kind of unfortunate. I don't know. I get wanting to focus on the newer content, but I feel like reworks breathe so much life into frames that really need the help. I guess we'll see. Testing an entire frame. Well, it's not like you're testing them to rework them. Rebecca never said she's going to rework Equinox. That's not really the point. The point is just to get a feel for, like, why do people feel this way about Equinox? It's right there. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Sab. Honestly, I don't think there's a single frame in the game that needs a full-blown rework on the same level as, like, Oberon or Anaros or anything. I don't think we're at that point. The one exception I could see is maybe Banshee, because I think she could just straight up get a new ultimate at this point. But, like, I think most frames just need a touch-up. I don't really think we need that many full-blown reworks anymore.
You guys are my heroes. You killed it out there. I have so much data to sift through. Now
Well, they do stuff like that as well. But then you also have, like, Oberon. As far as I'm aware, Oberon got no skins or anything with his rework. They just reworked him. Same with Caliban. Well, no, Caliban's Deluxe did come out at the time, didn't it? Never mind. I think that was the same update. But... make her killable? Yeah. Foley's Hunt had a lot of pushback on release. A Violet Shard and an Omniforma. Dude, fucking... okay, whatever. Like, I don't know, because there's also... I've seen people say things like, well, DE wouldn't do something if it didn't make them money, because they're a company. But it's like, when Caliban was reworked, they gave him out for free. Wasn't Oberon also free when he was reworked? Like, you'd think if that was their sole incentive, that they would only... like, they would rework things and not give you them for free. Or, like, when they updated a bunch of the Operator armor sets to work on the Drifter, and if you owned the Operator set, you got the Drifter set for free? Like... I feel like that's a really... Like, don't I understand being jaded with this kind of thing, but like, DE clearly cares about the game they're making. I feel like viewing things through the lens of like, they would only do that for money is like a really shallow way of viewing it. And yeah, that's true. Cyanax, the brand new Warframe, was free for 2 weeks when they released Veilbreaker as well. With skins, though. So, Caliban, I think, yes. Oberon, no. From what I remember, Oberon did not come out with a skin. He was just reworked because he was, you know, probably the longest requested rework just ever. Flash Resonance. Okay, I want to make something clear real quick. If a frame needs a rework or a retouch or something, that does not mean innately that they are bad. Like for Equinox, for example. Equinox is not bad. She has a ton of damage potential. She is not bad power-wise. Oftentimes, when people request a rework or the reworks are in the discussion, it's about their design. So Banshee. Banshee is not weak. But why the fuck are all of her abilities full-body actions? Genuinely, what is the justification for me not being able to do anything when I'm casting Sonar? Or even my 1? Why is this a full-body action, right? Why is Silence a full-body action? Like, what's the point of that? Or, like, her 4, right? It's the same with, like, Atlas. I don't think Atlas is bad. His 1 is really good, and his 3 is really good. But 2 of his abilities kind of suck. That's not to say that Atlas is bad, right? That's not to say that Atlas is a bad Warframe. But if someone was to request a rework or, like, an update to Atlas to work on the abilities of his that aren't very good, that's not to say that he's bad. They're not requesting the rework because they think Atlas is bad. I think some people conflate the term rework and buff, and those are not the same thing. Sure, reworks generally involve buffs, but the goal of a rework is often not to buff the frame strictly into a higher power echelon, right? It's to make them feel better to play. I mean, you look at, like, Valkyr, for example. Valkyr did definitely get buffed, but they also took away one of her strongest traits, her invincibility, because it made her feel better to play, because it made her armor gimmick make more sense in the context of her kit, right? There's some give and take with those things. Like, twice in the last few years, she still needs work. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Ember, honestly. When is the problem with gay people coming out? That would be fire, Zerd, I'm not gonna lie. That would be fire. Break 75 containers? Ayawi. Happy birthday or whatever. Dude, I don't care about the Kuba. Who gives a fuck? Anyhow. To Deimos. Time for some bullshit. When I kiss him? True. True. DE doesn't understand gay people? We're cooking, we're cooking.
Oh gosh. Several experiments are threatened by the murmur as they near completion.
Damn. Dude, this is the exact... Wait, this is the exact same mission order as the other one.
Prepare well. Before the foe is laid low, we
Am I tweaking?
return.
Dude, I got Wukuk, though. Not doing that shit. We're playing Mesa, for sure. With that name, you know, maybe. Permanent injury might low-key fuck me over. I might have to drop that.
Lloyd has tasked us with finalizing
Dude, I have Boar?
several
That's pretty good.
And there will be no coming back until the job is done.
I see the vision. I see the shoes. I don't know, dude. Fucking twin gremlins? Dude, why not?
If we fail, we fail.
Dunsin's
life
solid.
itself. Should we succeed, may our sacrifice be forever unknown.
Or 2 of each.
Me, friends.
So if you unlock, like Deep Archimedia, that's 2 pulses. And then if you unlock Temporal Archimedia, that's another 2 pulses. They're separate, if that's what you're asking. Uh, sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the chat a little bit. Wage Railer's config is? Yes, because it matches its corresponding loadout, like its corresponding mod config. So, like, config E is the same as the 5th config. Actually, fuck frame curse syndrome, that's the thing I'm dropping. But yeah, as the 5th config and on Mesa. Arcane Persistence Hildren? I've thought about just doing a video about persistence in general, actually. I know that obviously you're shitposting, but Limbo needs a rework. Not personally. I think the main thing he needs is just an update to his visual effects. Especially because, like, Limbo's in a weird spot where if you rework him, there's a huge chance you're gonna fuck up what makes him special to people who do like him. I think that the best approach would just be to make it more clear visually when an enemy is in the rift and just go from there, honestly. Like, I feel like that's probably the best option. Ooh. Would you look at that, dude? I'm actually fucked. That Anatomizer took half of its health in one go. What a great enemy. I'm so glad. And we have glyph inflation, so I'm probably not even gonna be able to heal the fucking thing. You know, actually, dude, low-key, I'm playing Mesa. I don't need the fucking cheese. I don't need the fucking cheese. I just don't. Hold up, hold up. Dude, that's another Anatomizer. These things are actually gonna kill the fucking objective. We're off to a really bad start, if that's not clear. In a public test branch. It's a weird thing. There was a public test branch. It was used for, like, Railjack and stuff. It has not been used in years. I think the last time that it was used was Echoes of War. The Echoes update for the new war. It's been a really long time. I don't really know why they don't use it, to be honest. Did you, like, get back in my line of sight? Oh, no, he was gonna die to the... Okay, that's fine. That's okay. For allies outside of it, I don't think that would work, because if the enemy's invisible, that doesn't mean that they don't have, like, an impact, right? Like, an Eximus unit's abilities still work across the rift. So if they're invisible now, you just don't see it coming. Or if they're contesting an interception point or something. And then he's in the rift. I agree, I think that would be a fun idea. Youch. They are beating this objective's ass. This is not good. And EDA/ET, yeah, Spectres are allowed. It depends on your modifiers, though. It very much depends on your modifiers. Because if you have, well, certain modifiers just cause the Spectres to die constantly, but it's also the case that, like, if you have gear embargo, you just can't use them. Spawn everyone. I kind of forgot to earlier, I'm not gonna lie, but these guys are very helpful. They serve as really effective distractions. I'm just gonna, yeah, just spawn these guys and just farm them. Fun embargo, true. They can give 90% DR to players. That would absolutely fucking murder Limbo. I'm gonna be honest with you, that would absolutely murder Limbo. I also feel like that just completely violates his entire idea as a character of having, like, 2 different planes that he controls. On Spotify, yeah, I don't know what happened with that. They were doing really good about releasing the Prime trailer like tracks, and now they just haven't been. I hope that they get around to doing that again eventually, because I did quite like that that they were releasing them. Whoop. Evil Warframe calls. I respect that, Zethos. Literally doesn't break him. I don't really understand. I don't know. I don't really understand where you're coming from. And I'm not saying this to be rude. I just don't really, like, I feel like those are 2 very large statements that are not being justified at all. I'm curious how you would, like, maintain Limbo's identity and take away the entire thing that his, like, gimmick as a character revolves around. Don't get me wrong. I actually do not think that Limbo should have ever been added with his idea, because the problem for me with Limbo is that he is fundamentally either overpowered or underpowered. There is legitimately no in-between with the way his gimmick works. Deserve to be in the game. Okay, you think Limbo's like a person? What do you mean deserve? He's a character in a video game. I feel like at this point, my suggestion to you is just to not play him. Like, if you don't like him, I don't know, there are people that enjoy Limbo. If you don't enjoy playing him, I don't really understand, like, why he should be gutted for the people who do. I don't know, there are plenty of frames that can give their teams 90% damage reduction. You don't really have to play a reworked version of Limbo with that capability to provide such. I actually do not think. That should be pretty clear information at this point, I think. Okay, we might actually lose the Oracle, I'm just going to be honest. But when he's already in the game. Because if Limbo... Okay, so let me elaborate. I do not think that his kit fundamentally, like... My issue with Limbo's kit is that if it works, he's broken. Because his ability to control enemies is so strong, they cannot be a threat to him. If it doesn't work, then he's useless, because all he's really doing is hampering his allies at that point, right? I think that Limbo's concept is cool. The way it was implemented, like, I don't think really works, but at the same time, the problem with Limbo is that you can't put him back, right? He's out in the world now. He exists now. And he has existed in a state similar to his current state for a very long time. There are people that like the way he plays for his flaws, and even if I don't personally think that his concept works because of that balance of he's either overpowered or underpowered and there's legitimately no in-between, if there are people that like to play him, then I simply won't play him. Like, if you pitched the idea for Limbo to me before he was released, I would say, why the fuck would you make a Warframe like that? Because being able to, like, freeze all enemies or completely evade their shots because you're in another plane of existence is just insane. But, like, he's out now, and there are people that enjoy playing him as he is. If they were to rework Limbo, all they would really do is collapse his identity into something that is already in the game and hurt what makes him special for the people who like him. That's my thought process on that. I feel like, that's sort of the Limbo paradox, I guess, to me, is, like, he's in the game now. I feel like the best option is, like, give him a visual effects update to make it clearer when something is happening to his teammates, but I don't really feel like completely reworking him and gutting his identity is a good idea, because there are people that enjoy Limbo for his current identity. And I feel like if we were to sort of remove his gimmick of existing in two different planes and sort of the way that's handled, then I feel like it would just kind of suck. Like, I've seen a lot of people talk about, like, making Eximus units or enemies with Overguard end up in the Rift, but if he was able to, or, like, I should probably clarify, be vulnerable to stasis and stuff like that. And I feel like that kind of messes with the entire idea behind those mechanics. And I also feel like it's important to clarify that obviously I'm not a game designer. I think that some people get a little bit, they kind of lose sight of that fact, right? None of us really work on the game. I feel like if there's going to be and they like the playstyle. WooClone's nerf didn't gut his playstyle. Like, the clone still fundamentally works as its original concept of, like, a wingman that helps you out. If you were to make Limbo give you DR instead of having, like, his gimmick of, like, being in a separate plane, I think that fundamentally messes with his identity as a character in comparison. Like, I think that, like, this isn't an argument that I'm making to say that, like, Warframe should never get buffed or have changes in general. I think that the suggestion of gutting the Rift's entire, like, 2 dimensions mechanic would just harm his identity for a lot of people. The auto-turret playstyle? Okay. Auto-turret playstyle is an oxymoron. Auto-turret is not a playstyle because you're not playing the game. That's not a... I'm sorry. That's not a thing. You are not playing the game. AFKing is not a playstyle. I also will say that there are some playstyles that should be killed off if they are bad for the game, like Persistence allowing you to have AFK strategies on release. I think it's fair that that went away, right? I think it's fair that that went away. And I also want to say that, like, at the end of the day, I feel like a weird word for him to get cut off on. What the fuck?
Updating.
Thank you for the 5. Me and my friends were discussing which frame is the autism frame. We agree Limbo fits the best. I think that's up there.
Marking location. Get messy.
It's an objective. It's not, I'm not arguing. Okay, hold on. I feel like we're bouncing all over the place here. I don't really know why I'm even engaging with this so much because I really don't care. Limbo is not a frame I play, right? What happens to him doesn't really affect me that much. But also, just because you don't like something that's objectively worth keeping or removing, does that not defeat your own argument as well? Like, yeah, there's no objective measure to basically any of this. Also, because Pablo has said himself that that's the reason they are not changing Limbo, is because they don't want to harm him for the people who enjoy him. The position I'm discussing is from the person who actually works on the game, who has the power to change the situation. Like, I don't know. I don't really feel like Limbo needs to be massively overhauled because he has a small dedicated following. And I'm going to be honest, if they like reworked him to be more accessible, not only would it mess with that for those people, but I just really don't feel like there's a point. To defend Limbo. I don't play Limbo that often. I just don't think he's fun. Genuinely. I just don't think Limbo is very fun. And I feel like if the goal would be to rework him to make, like, collapse his place on something that's more palatable, it would kind of mess with what makes him special to the people who do like him. But, again, at the end of the day, I don't really care what happens to Limbo that much, because I don't play him. And truth be told, if he got reworked, I probably still wouldn't. It depends on what they do to him. The main thing for me, like I said, is mostly a visual effects update. If Pablo's going to continue with, like, the stance of we don't want to mess with him... Okay, did that guy just spawn in and instantly dip? Dude, shit, fair enough. But that we don't want to mess with him because there are people who like him, that's totally fine. That is a totally reasonable opinion, and I think that's one that I'm fine to agree with. If you look at, like, a lot of other frames that got reworked, like Nyx or Trinity or something, there weren't really changes that fundamentally altered their identity nearly as much. There are some that have done things like that, because when you look at, like, Valkyr, right, Valkyr kind of had a large part of her identity altered, but I think it was to accentuate another piece of her, like, her, hit. I don't know. It's a complicated thing. Homogenize to their benefit. Well, there's a difference between, like, buffing something and homogenizing them. I guess I would want some examples on what you mean in terms of homogenized, right? I can't think of any, like, Warframe reworks recently where the frame was reworked in a way that made their kit, like, less unique in exchange for being more playable. I don't know, I guess you could argue maybe Oberon's passive, but I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Oberon's passive is, like, a very special case. Oberon's passive is a weird can of worms in general. I genuinely do not think they should have added Righteous Negation. I'm not really a fan of Righteous Negation, but I feel like Caliban had his identity as a summoner reinforced quite a bit. Oops, I'm subsuming over his shadow. Would adding augments to Sevagoth not be a direct change? Also, okay. The Sevagoth Sow and Reap thing is a weird example because that didn't remove playing around the shadow. That didn't fundamentally change Sevagoth because you can just not use the augments. Welcome to Cool Kid. I don't... AB4BOL. Fuck, I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. I buffs like that. Again, you just don't have to use them. Those mods are optional. Dude, I still play Sevagoth around his shadow. I can use it with health orbs. I mean, the thing with I think Oberon's passive rewarding collecting of health orbs is fine. The thing is that because it grants invincibility that also makes him status immune, if you can generate enough health orbs, his 3 and his 2 become, like, significantly less useful. I feel like the fundamental idea I don't have a problem with. I don't know. I feel like Oberon's passive, making him invincible, just kind of took a lot of what they tried to emphasize with his rework in terms of, like, using a high amount of armor and using your health regen and playing around your carpets, and just kind of made it feel, like, way more optional. Because you could just be invincible by using Universal Fallout and spamming your 4. Like, I don't know. A lot of people subsume off Oberon's 3, and I think for a support frame, that's fucking crazy. Thank you for the gift membership. Cool Ortis. Congrats to the recipient. Ouch, what the fuck shot me? Dude, this is taking forever. These exterminates have been unbelievably dog shit. This entire stream has been unbelievably dog shit. What's the point? Well, one of them is autonomous, right? Like, he doesn't have to stay in a specific area for it. Would overtake rift changes. Well, the rift changes are fundamental, though. Like, if you made changes to the rift, Limbo cannot... like, if someone liked Limbo's playstyle prior, they cannot go back on that. Unlike Sevagoth's augments. Like, yeah, they've massively changed his playstyle if you use them, but you can just not. There's kind of a difference there. A new option? Okay, I will say this. Some people say that, like, they basically gave him Mesmer Skin. No, they didn't. I'm sorry. That's a massive exaggeration. People, like, do you guys not realize that the people who say this, that Mesmer Skin is one fucking button? You push one button and you're invincible and status immune for at least as many seconds as you have charges. Mesmer Skin's invulnerability is 1 second. Oberon's is 0.25 seconds. And he can hold 3 stacks, and he has to kill enemies to build them. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like Oberon's passive, personally, but it's not Mesmer Skin 2. Like, it's not on the same level, right? I think that's a massive exaggeration. Oberon has one-button Revenant has one-button invincibility that scales with power strength. Oberon has to work for it. Even if, because of things like Reckoning and Universal Fallout, it is really easy to maintain. You don't really have to work hard enough for it. You get 30 charges. Well, the difference with Kome is it's random. It's not a one-button guarantee. Like, I'll be honest, I've thought about doing a video on the topic of Revenant before. I don't really know if I'm ever going to bother with it, because then I'm going to have to play a shit ton of Revenant, and I don't really want to do that. But I thought about talking about, like, Revenant's kit is full of just weird anti-synergies with itself, and it bothers me a lot. His design is so weirdly contradictory. Like, for example, Revenant, most of you probably don't know this. If Revenant is inflicted by a negative status effect and he moves through an enemy with his 3, that negative status effect will be transferred to the enemy. Most of you probably don't know this because you're fucking status immune in Mesmer Skin. There is no reason to ever take advantage of this mechanic. Most people will never even see it. Revenant's kit is full of shit like this. His passive revolves around his shields breaking, but he's invincible with Mesmer Skin. He has one of the highest shield pools of any Warframe in the entire game, but he has Mesmer Skin. His thralls are basically worthless to him because he can't stop killing them on accident. There are so many weird anti-synergies in his own kit, and I don't understand it. With Truth's Flame, I mean, you can, but that's a super gimmicky playstyle. I think that, like, if Revenant is to be reworked, the simple truth, right, is that I feel like Mesmer Skin cannot be invincibility anymore. I feel like the problem with that, though, is that people play Revenant for it. So then you have the question of, like, it's almost kind of like the Limbo thing in a way, where it's like, where do you draw the line with this playstyle exists but is bad for the game to the point it needs to be removed? Like, I personally think that Limbo has to work for it enough that I think that his Rift mechanic is understandable, especially with the amount of things that counter it at the moment. But Revenant, it's just entirely brain dead. It requires no investment on Revenant's part. And beyond that, the rest of his kit is just irrelevant for most people. Like, I don't know. There are ways that you could change Mesmer Skin that would still make it valuable, but I feel like the simple truth is kind of like Valkyr. It just can't make him invincible. I think that if they were to do what they did, like, with Valkyr, where they took Valkyr and they took away her invincibility, but then leaned harder into her armor-focused identity, that would be a great move for Revenant. Like, For example, say that Mesmer Skin no longer makes you invincible. It does something else, right? But then we lean more into his shield options, right? Like, say, now his Mesmer Skin has an interaction with shields. Now Reeve's ability to regenerate your shields is more useful, right? Like, we could play more into that angle, like how they did that with Valkyrie with her armor. Because currently, Revenant's everything shield-related on Revenant doesn't fucking matter. The simple truth, though, is I do not think they are going to change. They are not going to change Revenant. And I think the reason for that is very simple. He's way too fucking popular. He's just way too popular. Because Pablo has said this before. When someone talked about, on Twitter, they asked Pablo about the augment for Wukong's 4 being pretty weak, and they asked Pablo if there were ever any plans to buff it. Because it's like a 150% crit chance additive with mods. It's not very high. And Pablo said that there were no plans to buff it, because even if it was kind of weak, Wukong was the most popular Warframe in the game, and there was just no point in, improving that ability, right? Because Wukong is just so popular. Like, Wukong was a frame that, like, I don't know how many people remember this. For the longest time, Wukong was dog shit. Wukong used to be pretty bad. He had one real gimmick, and that was Defy. He got reworked, got his clone, and became vastly more popular. So he got nerfed, and his staff got buffed to compensate, right? And he's kind of been left there ever since. Because, like, he's very popular and for a fair reason, I think. But at the same time, like, even if he does have some issues where, like, he could receive a buff in certain areas for things that are kind of weak, it doesn't seem like a priority simply because he is just so strong, or so popular, rather. So Revenant, I imagine, is in a similar situation. Like, Revenant and Wukong often trade, you know, go band for band on who's the most played frame of each given year. And I feel like they won't make changes to Revenant because, like, what's the point? Like, if you look at, if you look at Wukong, why was Wukong nerfed? Fundamentally, it was because he enabled AFK strategies. It allowed you to not play the game. That's why Wukong was nerfed, ultimately. That's why they dialed back the strength of his clone and made it consume ammo and stuff, was so he couldn't just AFK. If you look at Revenant, though, is he that big of a problem? Because I feel like the answer is not really. Like, sure, Revenant's Mesmer Skin basically removes dying and status effects from the game. That's pretty extreme. But at the same time, he can't play the game for you like Wukong could. So it's like, yeah, Wukong, ever since he basically got put at the top in terms of, like, popularity, he's only ever really been nerfed. But at the same time, he can't really play the game for you because he doesn't have, like, an autonomous ally on the same level as Wukong did. And there's, like, degrees to this too, right? In terms of, for example, how easy it is to access. Also, for like 30 seconds at a time. That's not true AFKing, though. I know Pablo posted I think it was during a dev stream, that they showed that Wukong literally just stood in a corner for over 5 minutes with no input from the player and was still able to play the mission efficiently, of just sitting in the fucking corner. I don't know. I feel like Revenant is in a spot where I don't think he's going to get changed, even if I think it would be warranted, because his kit is full of so many weird design things that are not being taken advantage of or smoothed over. Because he's very popular, because he fixes a very fundamental problem with the game that players will encounter. Right? The change that I made after that. The Wu clone nerf was something that happened before that particular instance, but it was after, I believe, Wukong's original release. I'd have to find the patch history for that, because I know it was before Wu clone got its more heavy-handed nerf. And I mean, I also imagine that there's you can macro AFK. I guess I should probably clarify. There's also that element of things, right? If you have a macro on, then you can override something like that. Like if the anti-measure of like AFK can be defeated by putting a rock on your W key, it's probably not going to. It's probably fairly accessible. still happens. I feel like Mesmer Skin making his health invincible would be... At that point, his shields don't matter. Because, like, if your health is immune, then you still can't die. Your shields are just breaking for no reason, right? Boar will probably work fine for this. Where the fuck is there we go. It's like, where the fuck is the thing? But yeah, because, like, one of the general anti-AFK measures in Warframe with, like, Spectres and stuff is that they will start kneeling if you're AFK for too long. Like, Umbra does that. Most Spectres just in general do that. That kind of thing, have a passive. I'm gonna be real with you. Revenant's passive fucking sucks. Revenant's passive is dog shit. Even if he could use it, it's bad. It's pitiful damage in a pitiful range. His passive, I think, needs to be completely changed or just massively buffed. Also, yes, this boss is untargetable. That's why I was making a comment about needing the boar. Next year's. I mean, for a game like Warframe, probably not at all. Moat don't affect gameplay. That's a take. Do AFK long enough? I actually wasn't familiar with that one. I'd have to verify that myself. But, like, there are anti-AFK measures if you're just not doing anything. There's, like, the 15-minute thing where, like, if you haven't killed an enemy in 15 minutes, the game just forces you to kill one or you fail the mission. As I learned during the Let Krill stream, dude, this kind of sucks. Oh, this is not good. Whew. The problem is that I'm playing Mesa, so I'm still vulnerable to melee damage, which is going to be, like, the vast majority of the damage I'm going to take. Hold on, can't I just, like... Anyways. Whoop. Okay, thank you for the 5 AK Dreamer. One time I got an AFK loot penalty for staying in Void Rig 4 for half of a single mirror defense round despite actively aiming and contributing. Damn. Getting punished for playing the Void Rig. Man, this is pretty fucking slow. At least I have Relentless Tide, I guess. I can, like, farm Galvanized stacks off of that, but this sucks. This sucks. Maybe I should have spawned my mech. What heavy weapon do I have on, I wonder? I probably would die if I tried to cast it, though. Like a 5th ability. Personally, I think it depends. For some of them, they are fairly complicated in terms of, like if you look at Lavos, dude has, like, 18 passive effects, right? But, like, Foley's isn't that complicated. It's just enemies hit by your abilities have a chance to drop orbs. I think it depends on the frame, personally. But, like, for me, I actually do like the passives being a little bit more involved. Because, like, if you look at, like, passives like Mag or Volt or Excalibur, they aren't really that interesting, I feel like. Versus, like, Nyx. Okay, well, Nyx's passive isn't super complicated, but I feel like it also gives you more options to play into, right? I don't know, there's more potential there when you look at them. And I feel like, I don't know, there are modern passives that are definitely complicated, like the battery on Gauss is fairly complicated, but I don't think it's, like, a common thing necessarily, at least not personally. Like, you look at, like, what, Araxia just becomes invisible when she wall latches, that's really it. I'm not sure if you mean in terms of, like, 5th ability in terms of effectiveness. I'm not sure if that's the sort of the angle that you mean, but you know, I think that the passive's feeling more impactful, I do personally like. But that Gyre? The crit chance on her abilities passive? Banshees is the center of a lot of playstyles, actually, because she's one of the only firms that can silence gunblades and things like that. So there's a lot of use there. Caliban's 50% DR isn't amazing, but I don't think it's necessarily bad. Chroma's double jump passive is really popular among Chroma players. I don't think average Chroma is here, but dude defends that thing to the fucking death. Daggith is also kind of wild. Like, before her augment was added, at least, absolutely phenomenal passive, for sure. Excalibur sucks, Equinox sucks. Frost is pretty good, because the armor increases the health of his bubble. So he's got that. He also doubles the duration of all cold procs he inflicts passively, too, now, I believe. Gara's is the center of some weird playstyles. But I don't really use it that much personally. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with, like, maybe 3 of the passives you cited as examples, to be honest. Exist. Yeah, Loki's passive... Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Loki's passive is a weird one for me, because I personally think that it should get changed. But I've had a lot of people be like, well, Loki's passive is actually good because you can use it for the wall latch ribbon challenges. And it's like, brother, you have to get a certain number of kills while latched to the wall, so just bring someone who's better at killing things than Loki. You don't need the extra duration. You need the additional kill. Like, you need to kill things faster. 90% DR as part of a passive, I think, is a little much. Honestly, I think even Raksh's passive is a little much, honestly, the status immunity. I don't know. Ulfrin's passive is kind of fucky. I'm not a huge fan of it personally. I think Raksh is honestly probably too good. I feel like I never really switch off of his unless I'm moving through a mission. The status immunity is just fucking insane. Most frames need an ability for that, right? Most frames need an ability for that. 3 abilities as passives. I feel like Uriel's demons being his passive is like a weird yes and no almost. Because it's like, they do things passively, but they're also all tied to an ability and the stats from that ability, right? So I feel like it's like they're extensions of his abilities in a weird way. I don't know. Uriel definitely does have one of the game's most complex passives, though, for sure. If we want to count his demons as part of his passive, even though I feel like that's very strange, like on the developer's part, because they're affected by mods. But he has a very complicated one. It's the same with, like, I don't understand why they consider Jade's passive to be her passive, honestly. The fact that her judgments are considered part of her passive when you can only inflict them with abilities, I think is really weird. Like, if she had a 10% chance to inflict judgments with any hit instead of just hits in glory, that's a passive, right? That's a passive effect. But she can only do it while in glory. So it's like, what's passive about this exactly? She has to hit an enemy with her 1 or her 4 for this to work. I don't really understand what the rationale is here. To her kit, yeah, Omakuji Fortune, I do agree, should have just been a base kit buff. I feel like her kit just makes so much more sense that way. The unfortunate reality, though, is that DE has this... It's not like a super common thing, but they do have a tendency to add, like, augments that fix things that really shouldn't have been augments, right? Homei's, with her, like, Omakuji's Fortune is a big example for sure, but then you also got, like, Energy Transfer, I think is a pretty egregious example, that kind of thing. I mean, I made a whole video about the topic. I don't think this is news to anybody. Alright, time for some bullshit. What did we get? What did we get? Howlforged Red. You know, this was a decent week. I got, what, 3 reds? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll take that. I'll take that. Egregious example? Yeah, Ulfrin's Endurance is what makes her 4 usable. That shit should not have been an augment. Absolutely. It should have just been a buff to her base kit. Can have, no passives can be cool. I'm gonna be honest. The fact that they've, like, not changed them in so long are so weird to me. Because it's like, they reworked the starters again in... So, Heart of Deimos buffed them, and then I think Veilbreaker buffed them again? Because they were adding, more stuff to them. There were 2 updates that were kind of far apart that buffed all the starters. I can't remember when exactly they came about. I believe it was Heart of Deimos and Veilbreaker. But they buffed Mag, Volt, and Excalibur all pretty considerably. Like, they uncapped Excalibur's 3. It used to have a cap of 12 enemies. They made his 1 actually inflict slash procs, you know, stuff like that. The problem for me is their passives didn't get changed. Well, Volt's did. I believe his passive charges faster. But, like, Mag's passive is still literally useless if you're using Vacuum or Fetch. Also, Excalibur's passive is just so weak it may as well not exist, legitimately. I think that Excalibur's passive, I very much believe that he just needs to have, like, 1% lifesteal with melees. I think that would be, like, a big thing to give him. Like, it would fix a huge problem with his kit for me. So here's my... Hold on, let me actually start a mission before I go on this rant. I could play Excalibur for this, but I actually kind of don't want to. The thing with Excalibur is he has one big issue at higher levels that I do not think the other two starters struggle with. Crit weaker vacuum, no. It used to pull in pickups when you bullet jumped, which vacuum still overrode. There was, of course, a point in time where you didn't have universal vacuum, and it was more useful then, but currently it just gets totally overwritten. But for Excalibur, Excalibur has a problem at high levels where he is really fragile. Like, if you look at Volt, Volt has capacitance, which makes him super hard to kill if he has good enemy density. Mag has Crush, which gives her shields for enemies it hits, and she also has Polarize, which gives her shields just up front. Mag's 2 bubble can protect her by catching enemy projectiles. Volt's shield can protect him by blocking things as well. Like, they all have defensive options. Excalibur's only real defensive option is Radial Blind, and if an enemy is not blinded by it, they're probably gonna fucking kill him. Like, whenever I play Excalibur on stream, I always get asked by people, like, how are you not dying without a subsume? And it's like, yeah, the problem is I overinvested into not dying, right? Like, I have, like, a bunch of shit on that prevents this as best I can, and he's still, pretty weak. Okay, I also should say, Slash Dash does make you invincible while you're using it, but that kind of forces you to spam Slash Dash to stay alive, right? Which I feel like is kind of antithetical to the rest of his kit existing if you have to rely on his one that much. I think that, like, for me, for Excalibur, I think that his passive should be buffed to just have higher numbers, like, say, 30% increased melee attack speed, or maybe, like, 25%, or something like that, and just make it apply to all melees. It doesn't need to just apply to swords. I think that's ridiculous. But if they gave him 1%, just 1% lifesteal, it would fix his biggest issue at high levels of being made of paper. It would not be overpowered in the early game, because it's 1%. Your damage that early is not high enough that I think it would be overpowered early on. And it would open up the opportunity to actually use the remainder of Excalibur's kit beyond just spamming Slash Dash, right? Or subsuming over other things. I feel like if we just had, like, a little bit of lifesteal as a passive with melees, it would fix his biggest problems, and it would reinforce his identity as an aggressive melee frame, right? Because Excalibur is naturally supposed to, like, get up in the enemy's face. He's a melee character, but because he doesn't have any way to heal himself, then he's probably going to die, right? And I want to make something clear. Excalibur is not bad. Excalibur is super strong. Exalted Blade, after the changes that it received in Tekrot Encore, is very, very good. His 1 is very good. His augment for his 3 is very good. Like, Excalibur is not bad. The problem for me, though, is simply that his survivability is like this huge linchpin in his kit, for me personally. And when talking to other people about, like, Excalibur, it seems like that's a fairly common sentiment, is that you have to, like, take a subsume or just really overinvest to make sure you don't die. And I feel like, because I actually talked to Nova Umbral about this at one point, and Nova said that he didn't think that that would be a necessary change because Warframes should have weaknesses. And I think that, like, it's fair that Warframes should have weaknesses, but there's, like, a series of degrees to how damaging a weakness is, right? Like, take, for example, I don't know, like, a Warframe who doesn't have, like, a healing ability in their kit innately, but they have, like, a shield restore or something. Okay, So toxin procs are going to be more dangerous for them, right? But they're not going to be as... They're not going to be, like, under massive threat of sort of things that attack their health directly, like Hildren, right? Hildren is vulnerable if she doesn't have overshields to Toxin. Vampiric Luminous can screw her over, like, that's a weakness of hers. But it's not nearly as crippling, right? You look at Excalibur, his problem is that he can't stay alive. And you need to stay alive in basically everything in the entire game. So, like, having a weakness of, like, oh, this frame doesn't have status immunity, so this frame might be, like, prone to, like, dying to a proc, right? Or getting knocked down or something. Excalibur is like, yeah, I just die. It's like a difference of degrees to me, personally. Where it's like, I think Excalibur's issue in his kit, for me, is a little bit more pressing. As, like, yeah, I think Warframe should have weaknesses. They shouldn't be able to do literally everything. But implying there is any game mode where dying is beneficial... I caught someone. I said, basically, for one reason, what if you want to play the Harvester mission? There is your one example of a time that dying is actively beneficial, is letting the Zanuka Hunter capture you. That was my one exit I left for myself in that statement. Yeah, I will say as well that, like, when it comes to just, when I talk about these things in general, I want to make something clear. People are absolutely fine to disagree with me on my stance about literally anything. I play the game in a particular way. Other people might not. Like, Nova Umbral, when I talk with him about things, he had brought Excalibur to level cap without subsumes on several occasions, without the survivability subsumes, right? So, like, he didn't think it was a problem because he, like, massively spammed Radial Blind. That was the center of his strategy, if I remember. Wait, I'm close enough I should be able to just know where this is. But, like, my opinions are just based on how I play the game. I think it's important to keep in mind that, like, playstyle, even in very small ways, is a huge factor for why people might feel certain ways about a topic. Like, saying something is, like, an objective good or bad is very challenging, just generally speaking, right?
And make sure the system can see you doing it.
Get played by the ops, that's true. For doing that, I don't believe so. The Zanuka mission, I'm reasonably certain, is kind of just like an ancient novelty these days. But also, if a fella can rant real quick, I need to bring up something that bothers me a lot. I think I've talked about this before, but who cares? All my streams are like recycled rants at this point. There's no original content on here anymore. I don't like how people use the term objectively nowadays. Because objectively has become the new literally, right? So, I have, like, when someone... Okay, I need to, like, not trip over myself here, because I'm very opinionated about this, because it annoys me so much. Something being objectively true is a high bar to clear, because if something is objectively true, that means that it cannot be argued with. It is simply the truth. There is no nuance to that, right? It's just that is just the truth. And so I notice that people often will misuse the term objectively to fortify their argument, because if something is objectively true, then you can't argue with it, because it's not up for debate. Where the fuck are all the enemies? But, like I said, something being objectively true is a hard bar to clear. And I see people say stuff like that very often when they're, like, in discussions about, like, I don't know, video game balance or really anything, politics, just stuff in general. Where it's like, oh, you know, X is objectively bad, or Y is objectively better. And it's like, that's a bar that's pretty difficult to clear. I think I'm actually bugged. I'm just going to restart this. But, like, that's a bar that's fairly high to clear. Something being objectively true is a very different thing than something being, like, that you think it's true based on the available evidence, right? If there's room for interpretation as to whether or not a statement is true, it is not objective. But definitionally, it is not objective. And I have seen, let's crack that thing? Tag for what the fuck did you just say? Okay. For subjective, yeah. So, the moment that was like my breaking point with this, genuinely, I had a friend say something to the effect of, in my opinion, X is objectively bad. And I remember just like saying, you can't, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't say, in my opinion, something is objectively something. That doesn't make any sense. That is an oxymoron. That is definitionally incorrect. Like, do you hear yourself?
The Netracell is deep in this lab maze. Get control of
Quality slop 4chan thread. I just realized that I think I have knife step syndrome and frame curse syndrome. That's really Ganser on this this Warframe. But it's like that's not how this works. But I see it all the time. Agent here, welcome. I didn't expect you to be up at this hour. It's like 2 in the morning. But yeah, and I will say as well, is objectively a sphere. I have bad news for you, gamer. It's flat. That's not true, actually. It's an oblate spheroid. But the... I don't know. Like, just the use of the term objectively to position an argument as being inarguable because it is quote-unquote objective just pisses me off, dude. Because I feel like it's so transparent what the arguer is trying to do a lot of the time, or by saying that something is objectively true, that naturally means that you can't argue with it. Because it's the truth, right? Like, if I told someone, like, on a sunny, clear day, that the sky is blue at, 12 o'clock, and they went out and looked up and saw that the sky was blue, and then they came back and told me the sky is red, they are objectively wrong, right? They are objectively wrong. There is no discussion there. There is no debate there. They are just incorrect. And I hate how people leverage... Okay, this is going to be more far-reaching than I intended. People just use this kind of language wrong in general, and it annoys me a lot. Like, does anyone else think this? Maybe I'm insane for this. Does anyone else think that the use of mental health and, like, medical language at large has kind of massively reduced the meaning of those words? Like, what if they're colorblind? I like how everyone here is, like, trying to search for loopholes in this. I feel like me saying they went outside and checked, as I positioned like we were having a face-to-face conversation. People are just trying to get me on a technicality and kind of not understanding the point. But back onto what I was saying. The people using, like, I think, yeah, Sajin put it well, therapy language, massively, like, takes away from what those terms actually mean, right? Like, when people use, like, the term narcissist, for example, like, narcissism, to my knowledge at least, is, like, a pretty complex thing, right? Or, like, I mean, this is a much more older, or much more old-timey example, that's what I should have said, but calling someone, like, a psychopath, or the more common, like, or the more modern variation, a sociopath, or gaslighting is another term that gets misused a lot. I feel like another one, too, and I can't speak on this a ton from personal experience, because I, to my knowledge, am not autistic, but I feel like a lot of autistic language has also kind of been co-opted by people who don't have the condition, in terms of, like, going non-verbal, or stimming, or hyperfixations, all of that stuff. Like, those are words with, like, specific meaning to a specific group, and I feel like certain people who are not part of that group, who don't really fully understand it, or, like, sensory overload is another one that I think is, one that I see that's misused pretty often. But, like, you see things like that, and it's just, like, I feel like this is hurting the impact, of those words for the people that are... that really experience the genuine thing you're talking about that you might not fully understand, right? I don't know. Getting PTSD, yeah. Like, and don't get me wrong, I understand why people self-diagnose these things. Because if you are in the United States, where many people on the internet are from, because this is, like, the 3rd largest country in the world by population, I believe, dude, we don't have free healthcare. Like, if you have some kind of neurodivergence or something, you can't find out a lot of the time. You genuinely just can't afford it. So I think it makes sense that a lot of people, in specifically the US or other countries without free healthcare, kind of like start to identify with things that feel like they match them makes sense. I'm not faulting people for that. But I also think that it can kind of lean into this thing of like, okay, we're really watering down language that used to have a very specific purpose. And there was this interesting video from, I think it was Etymology Nerd, about how language is like a constantly shifting thing, where people are constantly taking words that have a meaning and generalizing that meaning so much so that we have to create new words to have the word's prior meaning, and then those words inevitably get co-opted as well. Have a good night. See you, Sage, and thanks for stopping by. So, like, for example, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, that words like imbecile or stupid, those used to be medical terms about, like, a person's intelligence. As they, like, were broadened into insults, there were new words that were created for that kind of thing. And then those broadened into insults, and now there are new words for that kind of thing. And it's this constantly shifting rat race where language that has a very specific purpose becomes more generalized over time, which makes the original point of the word it loses its meaning. And then new words have to be created to serve its original purpose. I think it's a very interesting subject, honestly, in terms of, like, the process of that happening and how it affects, like, people's relationship with that kind of language in general. The highest form of engaging in a fandom. Dude, LARP is... I'm not gonna lie, though. Like, I get that, like, LARP originally stood for live-action roleplay, and it's kind of lost a lot of its original meaning from, like, when I first heard the term 10 years ago. But calling people a LARPer is just fucking funny. I'm sorry. Like... I think that the word has very rapidly just become completely meaningless. I agree with you there, but calling someone a LARPer is fucking funny. I think that shit's hilarious. I'm sorry. It's so funny. Maximum LARP. Maximum LARP. I fucking hate it. Yeah, I think that's fair. And, like, don't get me wrong, there are times to use those terms. I think that there are times where it's fair to use those terms that are more specific. But as they, you know, generalize in wider society, it becomes harder and harder to refer to the more specific meaning they originally meant. High grades in reading comprehension, writing, or social studies. I mean, I was good at school in high school, if that's what you're asking, yeah, but I was a straight A student, much to my, you know, like, whenever I tell people that, I think it's more embarrassing than anything. It's like, yeah, I was supposed to be something, and I'm a fucking Warframe YouTuber, dude. What an awful way for my life to go. That's not even a joke. I'm not even kidding when I say that, dog. You're just an asshole. I agree with you on that, actually. Some people fall back on, like, it's like it's just a prank, if people remember that. But, like, saying, oh, I'm just rage baiting you. And, dude, okay, here's the thing about rage bait that irks me, too. Maybe I'm getting rage baited when I say this. If someone falls for rage bait, it is now embarrassing on them for engaging, right? Like, that's the thing that irks me about it when it comes to the way that rage bait is used, is that it is the fault of the person engaging, not the fault of the person who is instigating. Why is that the standard for something like that? Duplicate? That's pretty cringe. Like, if someone says something and you genuinely cannot tell if it's a joke, because what is it? Hold on, there's a specific term for this. Okay, hold on. There are so many of these that I'm gonna have to look through this. Yes, so the term I was looking for is Poe's law. I think many of you probably understand this. Poe's law is the idea that if it is not clear, like, whether or not they are joking, then it is impossible to distinguish between sincere extremism and a parody of that extremism, right? Not just politically, but, like, in terms of any position. So, the thing with that is, there are oftentimes you will see people who post things where it is legitimately borderline impossible to tell if they are kidding or if they are actually that, like, nuts, right? If the thing you're saying is actually that off their rocker. And I feel like those people get so much cover because the dumb shit they say, even if it's not meant to be bait, can be retroactively classified as bait to deflect from people engaging with it by shifting the blame to the people engaging and not them for saying it. And I think that's so fucking stupid. Like, if someone says some dumb shit and it's bait and you fall for it, but there was no clear indication that it was bait, I think that's a completely fair thing to fall for, right? And you can have fun with it. Like, sometimes people will get someone on the hook and troll them and fuck around, and it eventually becomes clear what they're doing. But it lets these people exist in this, like, superposition of my statement is both genuine and not genuine until I find out what my audience says. And then I'm going to collapse it into one of those two things, depending on what's more advantageous for me. That is pussy behavior, okay? If you're gonna say some bullshit, I think you should just fucking own it. Any responsibility? Most people don't have. I don't know. I don't think I'm a particularly intelligent person. I just talk like this. I don't know. I think that my, like, school English just made me talk like this. The life of the guy? Yeah. Like, I think it's one of those things where, at this point, clarifying whether or not you're a parody is, like, borderline essential. If you don't want people to, take things that way, right? Sup, welcome, Plague. I'm talking about people, using the term rage bait to get off the hook for saying dumb shit. Hope you're feeling better. I mean, I'm not sick anymore, so there's that. That's kind of fire. How long have we been live? About 2 hours? Okay, that's not amazing. But, so I have 2 things left. Okay. Real quick, I'm going to get up for a moment. My drink is pretty much empty, so I'm going to go grab another one. So this will be our be right back moment, right? You all behave. Don't plot my downfall. Don't do anything illegal, right? No posting meth instructions in the chat. I will be right back. Thank you, everyone, for being so patient. I'm sure nobody posted the instructions to making meth in the chat. I'm sure that didn't happen. Let's rage bait. Oh, is objectively shit? Okay. Well, you know, alright. I have a new initiative for everyone here. No more rage baiting, we're going to joy bait. Instead of rage baiting, we are now going to post things with the express purpose of making people happy. No more rage baiting. What drink did you get? I have a blue Powerade. I mean, I don't think Powerade's a great drink. It was just on sale. Let's joy bait. Okay, what if we make a bait for every single kind of emotion in Duviri? So, like, rage bait is anger. Can we have joy bait? Can we have fucking envy bait? Can we have sorrow bait? Where you post something that's supposed to make people sad? Or, like, fear bait? Okay, dude, fear bait is actually just, like, a huge thing. People fearmonger is the actual term. People fear bait all the time about things. That one's not even fake. By being an asshole. Fucking hell. The Dante incident again? We don't have to... No one here has to know about the Dante incident. At a convention? Oh, that sounds fun. Just the news channel? Dude, deadass. Okay. Chat, is it okay if I get a little bit political? Just a little bit, just a little bit. Bringing up the news channel made me... I want to talk about this real quick. So... I used to work at a... Terrorism, thank you, Liam. I used to work at a help desk, and the help desk that I worked at, we provided cable service. And each year, there is a phenomenon called sun outages. I know this sounds fake, but I swear to God this is real. Twice a year, in the spring and in the fall, you experience what's called a sun outage. Your cable service comes from satellites in orbit around the Earth. During this time of year, the sun lines up with these satellites in just the right way that it overpowers their signal, and the channels broadcast on them go out for like 15 minutes. This was a predictable phenomenon. He would always notify our customers when it was happening, and they never fucking believed us. Like, I had so many people question, like, they would have our cable service for 20 fucking years. This has been happening for at least the last 10, and yet they just don't believe us. The reason I bring this up is there is one particular day I always hoped that I wouldn't work when this was happening, but it was totally random. We didn't know when specific satellites would go out, we just knew the range of time, like the week it was gonna happen. The news channels. The news channels going off because of sun outages was the worst time to be working during sun outage season, because the people that called about it were the most insufferable fucking idiots you have ever met in your life. And the reason for that is because of two specific news channels, Fox News and MSNBC. Those two channels have such radical viewer bases that when they called in about sun outages, they would always accuse their political opponents of sabotaging the channel, every fucking time. And talking to those people was so unbelievably frustrating. Like, he was sunbaiting the customers. Like, for example, a guy called in once, and he was like, you know, hey, Fox News is down, but CNN isn't down. What's up with that? And I just replied, yes, it is. Because all the news channels went out at the same time. I was like, just go look. And he looked, and I just told him, like, you don't watch CNN, so of course you didn't know it was down. But he was like, you know, why is Fox News down? Does this have something to do with the Democrats? And it's like, no. And I explained to him what sun outages are, and he just didn't believe me. And he's like, well, I think I know who your CEO voted for. And then he hung up the phone. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious? Like, what's my incentive to lie to you about this? Not everything is some conspiracy theory. And I mentioned MSNBC because they were basically the left-leaning version of this. Like, we would have people call in about MSNBC being down, and they would be like, this is some fucking, you know, like, scheme from Trump. And it's like, what? What are you talking about, dog? This makes no sense. The thing is, it did become a recurring gag, because I will be honest with you all. The Fox News viewers did it more. Like, the MSNBC people did it pretty often. The Fox News people did it more. And it became a running gag in the office that the Democrats were working with Big Sun to shut off Fox News for 15 minutes twice a year. But there was a point where, because of sun outages, we would have every TV in the office would have a bunch of different channels up on them, so we could see when they go down. Because if someone's calling in and it's like, hey, this channel is down, we don't really know if that's a sun outage necessarily, because channels can't just go down, right? So it's like, you might hear that and be like, is that part of the sun outage, or is this person having a problem with their cable box or something? So we'd have a bunch of channels up to kind of monitor that, right? So there was one time, I remember this very distinctly, Fox News and MSNBC were right next to each other, and Fox News had a headline that was comparing COVID lockdowns to the Uyghur genocide, and MSNBC had a headline saying that Republicans were a death cult. And I remember seeing those two things right next to each other. Like, the juxtaposition actually floored me. I was like, there are people that take this seriously? Like, seeing that made perfect sense. It made it made perfect sense why the people who called it about those channels thought the way they did. Seeing those two headlines right next to each other, it all made sense. If anyone watches these channels and takes them seriously, I should just expect as much at that point.
Did you hear that? It said
Why their channels go down. I should have just started blaming it on the other side. Like, yeah, this is actually a thing that Obama signed into law where we legally have to take Fox News off the air for 15 minutes twice a year just to fuck with people like you. So yeah, that's it. That's what's happening. We are legally required. We are legally required. Stand-up comedy show. Yeah, American news is just cancer in general, dude. Like, I had a coworker, he watched exclusively international news from Japan. Because it was all like... Dude, it's so weird. When you watch the American news, local news stations are a mix of good and bad stuff, but it's mostly bad stuff. The national news channels, right? Like Fox, MSNBC, Newsmax, CNN, all that dog shit. They're generally overwhelmingly negative. It's a lot of scaremongering. The international Japanese news would just talk about bullshit all the time. And it was honestly really entertaining because it was just random bullshit all the time. You'd tune into the channel and they'd be talking about, like, this cat that one of their producers had. And, like, something about, like, cat adoption initiatives that were related to it in, like, their province of Japan or something. And it was just like, man, this shit is just way better. Even though I've watched it thrice, you have to click on the three dots and say, don't recommend this video. You have no choice. Work at a sex phone hotline? Okay. I need you to dude, the person who asked this is named Gaping Hole. Are we fucking serious? Fucking hell. Anyways, is literally propaganda. I mean, the national news channels are, like, I won't lie to you. That's just true. The national news channels are honestly just, at this point, I don't think there's much actual news to them, especially with the amount of blatant lying that they do. Anyways, I need you to honestly ask yourself, do you think someone, if you called a phone sex hotline and I picked up, you're hanging up? 10 times out of 10, you're fucking hanging up. You'd hear me say, dude, someone calls the phone sex hotline, the first thing they hear, hey everyone, cool kid here. They're hanging up. Boom. Instantly. They go soft. Boom. Phone's off. Phone's back on the hook. Never calling that hotline again. I'd be terrible for business, dude. Dude, what if I tailor my greeting to the sex hotline? Like, hey, whore, cool kid here. Dude, if... Okay, hold on. That would be fire. Just... Someone calls the fucking phone sex hotline like, hey, slut, cool kid here. That would be heat. Okay, I take it back. That would be heat. That would be heat. That would be fire. Bosses that I can confirm. Thank you for the 25 Polonians. That's what I'm going to call them to upset people. Yakuza side quest. What the fuck was I doing? Right, it's a spy mission. Let's do Ash. What am I listening to? Normal stuff. These Jade Shadows constellations. Okay, opening a video with like, hey whore, it would get demonetized instantly. Legal trust me here.
You must understand this world to understand his Narmer. You know these vaults. Get in. Find what you can.
On the roof. Look, some things people actually believe. Like when I was working at You screaming? What? Okay, I don't even know that much about car engines personally, but I don't think that's how it works. Big Yahoo. Okay, you know what could be funny? Have you guys seen the YouTube channel The Daily Emerald? Does anyone here know who The Daily Emerald is? I feel bad for him. He's constantly getting his shit demonetized. But The Daily Emerald does like Minecraft videos that are in the style of like news reports. I feel like something like that for Warframe could be funny as like parody news reports. I'm probably not gonna do it, but it would be funny. walking around politics. Well, I didn't work directly in politics. I worked for a help desk, and we managed, like, internet and cable service, right? I'm a nerd about a lot of things, but, dude, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I could handle being in politics. Like, don't get me wrong. I do not talk about politics on my streams that much for a very specific reason. I simply do not think it is relevant to what I make, and I also do not want people to be constantly reminded of how fucked up the world is. Like, when I play a game like Warframe, this is like a reprieve from the reality that gas is $4 a fucking gallon, and it cost me, you know, like 50% more to buy groceries than it did this time last year, okay? Like, the world is a shitty place, and I don't want to remind people of that. I don't, like, it's not even just about not preaching my opinions, because, like, yeah, preaching my political opinions to my audience can come across as condescending and drive people away and all that stuff. But the main thing for me, genuinely, is that I simply do not want to remind people, like, people deserve spaces away from the horrors of real life, you know what I mean? Everywhere I look, there is stuff going on that is related to politics. In terms of, like, and dude, especially with, like, the current political situation, especially here in the States, it is super hard to avoid.
I saw the truth.
So, I try to avoid that on my channel. However,
but you will.
I try to read up on politics as much as I can. I try to read up on what's going on in the world, and I try to keep my ear to the ground on what's happening in the news. Because I think that being politically engaged is important. Knowing what's going on is important, but that doesn't have to mix with my content, right? Because, like, I think that it's... What's the quote? Like, you may not fuck with politics, but it'll certainly fuck with you. I think that's an important tenet to keep in mind, right? But I think that at the same time, I don't have to constantly, like, keep that iron in the fire at all times, right? There's a time and a place for it, and my viewers deserve a break. I deserve a break, so it's not gonna be here, right? Cool kid, genuine question, even though I know it sounds stereotypical and offensive as fuck. What's behind some gay guys having speech patterns closer to women? Any experience as a gay person yourself? So I am bisexual, which changes that a bit, but Nitro is gay, and he doesn't talk like that either. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what the cause would be, but I don't think it has anything to do with being gay. I have actually met many straight people who have the stereotypical gay guy voice, or, like, gay guy mannerisms. I don't think it's, like it's associated with being gay, but I don't really think it is. It's just a more effeminate behavior. I don't really know what the cause is, though. Is sex political? Unfortunately, yes. I'm sorry, but yes. Be ruled by him? Yeah, I think... There's something, it was from Professor Dave, I think, talking about this, was that one of the most important things for democracy to function is a politically informed and engaged, like, it was politically informed, politically engaged, and politically active population, right? And I think it's important to try and keep that in mind. It's political. Okay, this is one of those things where I feel like this is just, like, disingenuous insofar as it being a semantic game. Technically, all decisions between people are political. Definitionally, that is true. However, I think that there is something that should be a fairly intuitive line between modern topical politics and the concept of any decision or negotiation ever made between two people. Like, I've seen people do this before, too. Like, there were people in my Discord talking about Charlie Kirk. And it was in the Warframe discussion channel. And when it ultimately became an issue and we asked them to stop, there were people like, well, we're discussing politics in a, channel about a political game, right? This isn't really that surprising. And it's like, if you think that the political themes of, like, the corpus as a critique of capitalism are justification to talk about Charlie Kirk, I think that you're being intentionally obtuse, or you're, like, legitimately fucking stupid. Greater political? Yeah, it do be like that, doesn't it? And yeah, I'm sorry to hear that your parents aren't supportive. My dad wouldn't be if he knew. You think Sam isn't here anymore? But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where, just the general politics thing, I try to keep it off my channel because I simply don't think that, like, people should be constantly subjected to it. But I also think that, like, you should be politically informed. I think that's important. But I feel like, you know, preaching to my audience about my own personal beliefs or constantly making politics, like, bringing up just the realities of how shit the world is all the time would just suck. When people are fucking? Yeah, I think that's completely fair. What was the quote from Pierre Trudeau? The state has no place in the bedrooms of the nation? I think that's what he said. Fucking banger. Fucking banger quote.
This excavator is fully powered. Additional fuel cells.
Make Romania great again. Holy hell. Just a flat efficiency buff. I don't personally use Swift Bite because Lavos is so competitive for mod space, but it is a very good augment for sure, Goated as fuck. Yeah, I'm not Canadian. I've heard that Pierre Trudeau was a very important prime minister. Are political? Honey Nut Cheerios. Okay, how can we make this political? They're owned by a megacorp, so let's start there. All right, new objective. How do we bring politics? Like, I'm trying to keep politics out of my channel. How do we bring politics into things where it just doesn't make any sense? All right, like we need to find some, like, the politics of rock collecting. It could work. We could find some way around that. I think we could pull it off. Like, sorry, dude, your bottle cap collection is actually highly politicized. I'm sorry, dude. That's a problematic rock to own. Problematic rock to own. You have to get rid of it. My different opinions, yeah. It's a very broad-reaching thing, honestly. I got banned on Google Play. In many regions. Yeah, see, Wisp is onto it, right? You collect rocks. Well, salt is a rock. And you know who gives us salt? Slave labor. Checkmate, idiot. Do you eat salt? I rest my case. You support slavery. You support slavery. I rest my case. Dude, that reminds me. Does anyone else feel like people on the internet these days? Okay, I'm singling out a group. The Amazing Digital Circus fans. I have never seen a group that is more incapable of distinguishing between the idea that fiction and reality are not the same thing. And moreover, that you can write a character and not sincerely believe their philosophy. Hold on. There's an image Rosie sent me I'm just going to read verbatim. Because it sums this up so fucking well. Hold on, I post a lot of shit in our DMs. I have to find this quick. Okay, yeah, this is a Tumblr post. You wrote about murder? Murder is illegal? You wrote about this dude killing someone and you didn't even say murder is bad at the start of the book. What the fuck is wrong with you? I can't believe you condone murder. I can't believe you're pro-murder. Oh my fucking god. Don't talk to me when you literally kill people, you freak. I'm calling the cops. What the fuck? I'm shaking and crying. This post is the perfect encapsulation of how these people actually behave. Now, I want to say, this post I'm reading is sarcastic. It is a parody to make a point. But when you see those people, there are, like, people... I'm bringing up the Amazing Digital Circus because it's low-hanging fucking fruit, dude. Those people are, like, legitimately delusional. But, like, people actually behave that way. They actually treat this shit that way. Taiwan as a country? Hold up. I still have this. I still have this. When they were 12. Dude, there's an entire genre of image, like the image where the guy posts Thor with the caption, "I skin infant babies," and all the people in Discord are freaking out about it. It's so funny. Dude, I love that genre of image. People caring way too much about innocuous shit. It's funny. There was a subreddit that was pretty funny for a while called People Who Give a Shit that was about that kind of phenomenon, but I feel like it's just kind of spiraled into just being, like, really unfunny. There's the occasional banger of someone having some crazy crash out, but... actually talk like that? Unfortunately true. I'm gonna be honest, if someone ever uses, like, the phrase, "hope this helps," in their like, when they're talking about something, or like, hey, actually, like that kind of language. I'm sorry. I feel like they hate me. I feel like they hate me. That's about it. I think that, like, some shows are just prone to that kind of thing, and I couldn't tell you why. Like, Has Been Hotel is the same way. Fan base, that's, not fantastic. Ring the bell and subscribe to Lady Gaga?
Excavator stalled. Find another fuel cell and take it to
Forcing Christina on people, actually. Also, yeah, the when someone expresses an opinion you agree with what they say in such an annoying way, you want to disagree. I feel that too, for sure. The pregnant man emoji? Dude, the pregnant man emoji has taken over Grattler Gang. Like 50 Shades of Grey. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't bring this up, because this is like an explicit culture war topic, and I certainly hope there are no culture warriors in my chat. What the fuck is going on with the new God of War game? Like, I saw the I have never played a God of War. I want to make that clear. I saw the trailer, like, oh, this looks pretty fun. Didn't think anything of it. The next day, I get a video in my feed talking about this controversy. I'm like, what the fuck? People are mad that she's not attractive enough? And it's like, what? She's an old woman. Like, I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I genuinely don't understand it. And then you see people, like, making AI improvements to it. It's like, dude, this is like, we've lost the plot so fucking hard on this. Like, don't get me wrong. There are some people that have levied the criticism that, like, God of War is inseparable from Kratos, and they wouldn't play the game not because it's a woman, but because they don't feel like it would be the same experience without him. That is a criticism that I think has some meat on its bones, if that's why you want to play the God of War games, right? Dude, what is wrong with this animation? He's just ominously hovering into the arena here. For trad family? You never know with these things, dude. Dude, I feel like so many of the, like, modern culture war topics are fucking insane to me. The ant? Yeah, and I will say, listen, some people don't want to, like, not play as Kratos, and that's fair, but I've seen some people talking about stuff like, if it was about Thor, then I'd be happy with it. It's like, why is that the case? I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of the God of War series. I just saw that the game was coming out. I was like, oh, that looks fun. And then woke up the next day and was like, what the fuck is going on? He has an attractive bugs me. And it's like the thing that people are running with. Dude, okay, hold on. Has anyone here seen... Dude, I have to fucking find this. I'm sorry. We're getting political again, I think. But, like, this is too funny not to talk about. I do not want to bring up the post, or the person who posted this by name, because it'll immediately give it away. When I'm scrolling through my DMs with my brother Hunter, I'm finding, like, oil paintings of an Uncrustable in here. Okay. This has got to be, like... We are at a point of... This is, like, culture war psychosis. This is legitimately, like, culture war psychosis. Did my Windows Explorer actually crash immediately upon me opening it? You fucking piece of shit. I'm not even on Windows 11. You're supposed to work. Okay. This. Have you all seen this tweet? So, I've seen a lot of people call this bait. As far as I'm aware, Smash JT is like a real conservative grift channel. Like culture war, you know, grift channel. To my knowledge, this is not bait. He even made a video about this topic after making this tweet. As far as I'm aware, Smash JT is just a grifter. But when you see this, it's like we have actually entered culture war psychosis. We have actually entered culture war psychosis. Like, this literally is nothing. Also, the thing in the background, you guys know what that thing is in the background? That's Threshold. The planet that Alpha Halo orbits. Guess what? Threshold was also in the original game in 2001. It's been there the whole fucking time! What are you getting mad about, dog? Is he hiding something? Also, I love how he says, bisexual lighting, then they're signaling trans. Like, where are you? Hold on. Where? Genuine psychosis tweet? Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. Evan Pierce, her album colors. Dude, I shit you not, Ultra Kill? Okay, do you guys know about the website Woke Detector? Does anyone here know about Woke Detector? It's also a Steam group, I'm pretty sure. But the website, okay, to make it clear, as far as I'm aware, the website is a parody. I don't know about the Steam group, but the website is a parody. But the Woke Detector, I think it was the Steam group, added Ultra Kill to the Woke Detector because of the presence of the fucking plush shark in the fishing level. And they added it because the album art, this is not in the game, the album art for Layer 7 had the mannequin spell out the word gay in flag symbols, which was an Easter egg people did not notice for months. Okay, people say it as blahaj, so I feel like if I pronounce it correctly, they would be confused. I do not speak Swedish. My friend Euro does. She told me it's pronounced like blowhigh. That's how it's actually pronounced. But if I said it like that, nobody would fucking know what I'm talking about. That just links to the Steam page? That's so fucked, dude. That's so dark. Dork. Aye, Captain. Enemy faction ships in warranty video. I've thought about doing like a Railjack video, but I feel like I'm not qualified to talk about like their ships from like a naval perspective. The Dark Woke stuff, okay. I understand like the original idea behind Dark Woke as a movement, but I just think that it's funny as fuck. I'm sorry. Shit like Dark Brandon was fucking hilarious. Dark Woke. Dude, during Pride Month, all gay wizards have a power bump. It's fucking crazy, dude. Was a naval enjoyer? Well, my boyfriend is, but I don't know how well we could, like, put something like that together. The most knowledge I have about how, like, a ship works is fucking Nebulous Fleet Command, dog. There are many people that'll probably hear me, like, say that and think, what the fuck is that game? And there's gonna be, like, 2 people in the chat that are like, cool kid plays Nebulous? Nothing Dante again? I mean, honestly, I don't fucking know. I hate Pride Month. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I was actually in kind of a similar position for the longest time, and I kind of want to explain what changed my perspective on that. So, when it came to Pride Month, I never really saw the point, personally, for the longest time. It's never been something I really engaged with either. And so I kind of just, like, found myself sort of passingly annoyed by it, primarily because of, like, rainbow capitalism and stuff. It felt very much like it was being used by companies to try and, like, appeal to a market, if that makes sense. But I read a very insightful thread from someone talking about this, where it was like, just because you don't find value in it doesn't mean that there aren't people who do find legitimate value in access to that community when they feel, for much of their life, like they haven't belonged, right? Like, if you grew up in a family that didn't accept you for being trans or gay or whatever, or maybe that's still the case, having the ability to go to, like, an event where you're surrounded by people who do accept you for who you are, and you have the ability to be with like-minded people and explore things that you weren't allowed to before, I think that that's, like, a fair stance on it, personally, is that just, even if you don't need it, there are people out there that do. And so, even though for the longest time I kind of just had, like, a sort of passing annoyance with the whole thing, because I felt like it was being used just to market to a group of people, I understand now that, like, yeah, when it comes to, like, Pride events and things like that, there's a legitimate value in those things for people who find that sense of community important. Like, personally, whether or not you're gay has zero bearing on whether or not I want to associate with you, because that's just not relevant to me, right? But some people, I think, it's, like, being able to talk about those types of topics with people and things like that, it's, you know, it's valuable for some people, right? And I think it's fair to give them that space. need to cater to them. I think that's something that you definitely see on platforms like Twitter, but I'll be honest, I get where you're coming from. I also think it's important to remember that the people on Twitter are fucking lunatics. Being a whole month have. Well, I mean, I feel like it's a more complicated thing than I could answer for you, to be honest. I feel like it's one of those things where maybe we're getting into the too political side of things if I talk about this topic. People are going to get very heated about it. Because the people have a lot of opinions. I mean, for those who don't know, Pride Month was actually a Pride Week at one point. I think it was like in the early 2000s or something. And it ultimately expanded into a month. The history and lineage of Pride Month is not a thing I'm particularly familiar with, right? Who should I play for this? You know, we'll just take Oberon again, dude. I don't give a fuck. My goat. Quite literally. What's happening in other regions? Pride Quarter? Alright, everyone. By 2050, it's going to be Pride Year. We're just fucked. It's over. Wisp? I guess I could have played Wisp. Got patch notes? Dude, they buffed the gays. That's fucked. You guys want to hear a really fucked up fun fact? I'm not making this up. You can look this up to verify. Five Nights at Freddy's is older than national legal gay marriage in the United States. This isn't a joke. You can look this up. The first FNAF is older than national legal gay marriage in the US. This shit is this thumbnail? Are you a ball knower or not? Hard. Okay, I have to ask. Show of hands, chat. With the tiers of gayness. I feel like the popular objective take is like this is priming for rage bait. I mean, I feel like I actually watched a really interesting video about bisexuality in video games and how it tied into like a wider cultural issue of erasure of the identity of being bisexual in general. Shit, dude, I should find that video and just fucking link it. It's a great watch. It's super interesting. And with like how bisexuality is often like reactive depending on the player, as opposed to like it'll be a gay or straight thing as like options, as opposed to the character being like genuinely bisexual. It was a very interesting discussion. In my country, damn. What I was going to say was, show of hands, how many people in my chat found out they were gay because of Five Nights at Freddy's? I'm just genuinely curious. Be it the community or because you wanted to bang the fox. How many people here actually found out that they were gay because of FNAF? I have to know. Amar? Thank you, LU. Amar. What? Look, there has to be one person here, okay? There has to be at least one person. We got 200. This is a big enough sample size. According to Woke Detector, they do Pride each year, yeah. What's life for my puberty? Dude, the chat is just getting fucked up about this. Not me, but I do find Toy Body insanely hot. At least you're honest about it. At least you're honest about it. The being a furry. Okay, so I can see that general consensus didn't discover that you were gay, right? From FNAF. But people have found out they were furries, which was, I think for many, was a gateway to find out that they were gay. Okay, so it's like, there's like degrees of separation here. I think that makes sense. There's like degrees of separation here. E6 searches. Fucked up. Dude, when FNAF Security Breach first came out, Swinardian would not stop thirsting over Roxanne in Grattler Gang. Dude's not even a furry. He just fucking... He was just after it. He was just after it, dude. Fucking dude, crazy word. Crazy word. That robot? Fucking insanity, dude. Insanity. Never drops what I want, and that's homophobia. True. Wow, I can't believe I didn't get the thing I wanted during Pride Month, too. Come on, DE. Where's my Tau Forged Red during Pride Month? Don't discriminate against me like this. Legally marry in your state? Fucked up. Dude, I've been... Oh my god, did I not pick it up? No, I just didn't get the prompt. For EDA, yeah, I did. I can only bitch so much if I don't get a Tau red. I'll get 4 reds this week. That's pretty good. But this is embarrassing to admit, but I hope there is some solidarity in my chat. Was anyone else here a creepypasta kid? Like, I grew up on those stories. I still think fondly of a lot of them. And that was part of what, got me into FNAF as a kid as well. I don't know if anyone here knows what I'm talking about. I was 100% a creepypasta kid. And to be honest with you, some of that shit still hits. I think some of them are very good. A lot of them were ass, don't get me wrong. Jeff the Killer, dog shit. Sonic.exe, atrocious. Those were all bad, okay? But you had the occasional banger. Dude, my favorite... one of my favorite books is Pen Pal, which started as a no-sleep story. I think Pen Pal is fucking fantastic. I don't know if I'd count it as a creepypasta. Boxes? Or not Boxes. What was the... Footsteps, I think, was the first entry. That could stand on its own as a creepypasta. But the wider narrative, I think, was pretty interesting. Lag? Let me look. Am I getting dropped frames? I don't see any report from YouTube that my stream is dying. Good for me. The original Smile Dog story was actually alright. I don't think it was amazing, but the monster's concept is really cool. Okay, has anyone here seen the web series Chainmail Chasers? If you haven't, and you're into, online horror stuff, Chainmail Chasers fucking rocks. That series is so good. I highly recommend it. It's such a cool exploration of the concept of Smile Dog as a monster. SCP is the best. I also was very much an SCP kid. I still sometimes listen to, those types of videos, too. From, The Goat, The Vulcan, or, things like that, right? I'll occasionally listen to them still. To this day. You know, I'll be honest, I think Ben Drown gets too much flack these days. I don't think it was a bad story. I will say that the entire Cult of the Moon Children thing that happened after was kind of weird. But the way that, the guy who made it, made screenshots and stuff with, a custom ROM hack was really innovative. Control games. Yeah, dude, Control rocks. When it comes to, SCP-inspired media, I love Control's interpretation of it. It's so good.
Amar thought himself a hunter.
Unexplainable stuff. I actually did, the Search and Rescue series is really interesting as far as no-sleep threads go, for sure. Something strange. Yeah, I know that there was, an entire, cult angle by the end, with, Ben escaping to the internet or something like that. The new Control game? Yeah, Control Resonant looks good. I'm excited for it. No Tau Force Red. Dude, during Pride Month? Homophobia strikes again, dude. Homophobia strikes again. It's a flat circle. For some reason, I think that, yeah, that just happens. Dude, 12k Kuva? Man, I really needed that. Really needed that, didn't I? Fuck my life, dog. Fuck my life. Opening Epic up. Control is really good. I really enjoyed it. So, here's something I love about Control 2. I can't remember all the terminology because I played the game a long time ago. But... So, Controls has anomalies, right? Like SCP. I think they're called Objects of Power. But the thing that makes them interesting is that certain persons of interest can interact with Objects of Power and absorb their powers. And that's a huge part of, the game, and the character you're playing as, Jessie, is that she can do that. A large part of unlocking the new abilities is solving puzzles around specific objects. I think one is, a flamingo, thing that teleports. Weird shit like that. Or there's this puzzle with, an X-ray machine that you have to perform. And when you solve the puzzle and can access the anomaly, you can absorb its power and unlock a new ability, which is such a fucking awesome concept. It's so cool. And I also love, with the DLCs as well, and reading about, the investigations district being lost and stuff like that. I left him on fridge duty. Dude, that shit's so fucking iconic. I left him on fridge duty. Absolute fucking banger. Is boring. I thought it was fine, but I feel like the combat felt like it was supposed to be good. It was supposed to be good trailer material. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be good trailer material. Do I have anything else I need to buy from you? I don't think so.
Look after yourself.
No, I will. I recommend Control a lot. I think that it's narrative, and dude, there's like the hotline and the entire plot with like what is it, the Oceanside Motel and all the weird mystique around why you have to go there. It's so cool, and the entire like motif of having to pick up the hotline to speak to what was his name, Trenbull or whatever, the prior director, was just so fucking interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I've been playing Destiny 2 lately again, and Edge of Fate kind of low-key ripped off that part of Control. I feel like the hotline is such an iconic idea that if you're going to do anything like it, you are stealing it from Control. I don't know that one by that name, to be with you. Wait, hold on.
Till then.
SCP type stuff. Yeah, Abiotic Factor is also super sick. I haven't played a ton of it, but the entire idea they have with like the anomalous zones through the portals is just also really interesting. I also love how it like allows you to have these like self-contained levels. Abiotic Factor is also really cool. In like 2 hours. I'm sorry, Robo, that you're in this situation. Yeah, dude, Control hits. I don't know, I think the SCP Foundation in general just put forward such a cool concept, and I love how, like, things have sort of reinterpreted it over time. Yeah, but Abiotic Factor, Nitro is super into it. I haven't played it that much. An awful situation. That is true. That is, as we were talking about earlier, that is objectively correct.
To truly master the canvas of war.
Hold on, what am I doing? My goal is just to smash shit. But yeah, Abiotic Factor is just a really cool concept, and I really love how things have kind of explored the SCP Foundation's idea. Mara, do we think? I'm sorry, I don't think you can become a Warframe main on like the first day of the Warframe being out. I think it takes like a little bit more time to figure things out. Maybe that's just me being gatekeepy. Favorite SCP? What's its number? The one, it's... What, dude, what the fuck is its number? It's the one that's like the Lake of Blood in Canada that like entities just emerge out of. I loved reading through that one. Its logs were so interesting. Of like all the weird creatures that would just randomly like, or just suddenly emerge from it without warning. I can't think of its number. But I think that one was really, really cool, conceptually. 354? I think that's correct. I just got laid off. Damn, dude, I'm so sorry for that. The economy is so fucked. Like an Alan Wake. I actually haven't played Alan Wake, but I really should. Makes a cup of anything. That SCP also is iconic. Dude, there's so many, like... Modern SCPs are very interesting because I feel like they had to move away from, like, just being monsters. But some of the novelty of the original ones are still there for me as just, like, weird monsters. Like, there's the one gas mask where if you put it on, you're, like, transported back to World War, like, 1. There's the candy bowl that says, take 2, please, or if you try to take more, it cuts your fucking hand off. Like... Okay, there is an SCP I read very recently. I'm not super involved with that stuff anymore. Has anyone here heard the... or read the SCP, Just Another Murder Monster? No, it's Yet Another Murder Monster. It was a really, really interesting story. I don't really want to spoil it. I genuinely think you should go read it. It'll take you like 5 minutes. But Yet Another Murder Monster was a very great article. It was such an interesting, like, meta-commentary on the trope that SCPs leaned into, as well as just a really interesting story in general. Damn it, dude, all of these are good. Dude, we have to stack Got Your Back. It's just funny if I do that. that eat people. Yeah, that one's also really interesting. The Red Sea, yeah, Red Sea Object is also probably like in my top 5 favorite SCPs in terms of like the different worlds that it can transport you to. A lot of cool stuff with that. I don't know, like, I think there's a lot of like, I think the classics are still fun, where they're just like murder monsters with weird twists. Like, I don't know, your SCP like 106 and 096 and 173 and all those chaps. I don't know. SCP is an interesting thing in general, because I think that it's a very polarizing topic on, like, do you like the higher level approach more modern SCPs take? In terms of, like, they stopped being about just, like, monsters with gimmicks and started being much deeper. And I think it's a hit or miss thing. Like, what is it? SCP-3000? Red Reality, I think it's called. The one that's about Dr. Scranton being stuck in one of like his reality anchors or whatever, and like his mental deterioration over time. Like, that one is really, really interesting, but it's not really about a monster. It's more of a character study of the guy going nuts, but it's still a great story. It's just not really like a conventional SCP in that sense. There's another SCP. I remember the King in Yellow related one, like the one about the player, what have you.
Your enemies have grown fierce. Use all that you have learned.
Like Bigfoot and all that. I think, yeah, there are some, I mean, just kind of when it comes to the SCPs, like, I believe there are some SCPs that do play, and like, isn't there an SCP about Bigfoot being like an entire species or something? Was the choices we made along the way. You know what's funny, Wisp, was that the yet another murder monster that is basically like the Spark Notes version of it. Be the old man in some ways. I'm not really sure. The interesting thing about SCP canon is that it's very loose, right? I see the interpretation, but I don't know if that fits in with like his regular article. SCP-1000 is Bigfoot? The anti-memetics division? I'm sorry, I have to admit this. I looked at your chat message and read anti-Semitics edition, or division, and I was like, what? Why would the SCP Foundation have the anti-Semitic division? What are you saying? Oh my god. Horrible, horrible moments of misreading there. Holy shit. Have you played Signalis? The first few hours. The first few hours of it. I really should actually finish the game at some point, but lock in Ghoul Kid. I'm sorry. I gotta focus up. Yeah, I don't know. SCPs are neat. I feel like they've kind of lost a lot of their luster as they went mainstream, but there are still cool authors doing cool shit with it, right? Mouthwashing. Mouthwashing is good. I had my cousin Nick played through it while we watched him. I have this thing I like to do where I torture my cousin Nick by making him play horror games. Dude, making him play Shipwreck 64 is like a highlight of my life. Nick playing through Shipwreck 64 was fucking hilarious. And I don't even blame him. He was scared shitless like 90% of the time, and so was I, and I wasn't fucking playing. Dude, Squeaks, the dude who made Shipwreck, is like a fucking prodigy. For, like, Squeaks finished that game right after finishing high school, I think? Like, they are a fucking horror game prodigy. Shipwreck is a fucking banger. Billion must play. Dude, Voices of the Void also is sick. Not like a super horror-focused game, I don't feel like. It's like it's a very sandbox thing with like horror elements, for sure. But it's also really cool. Nowadays, I'm not familiar with a lot of their works by name, to be honest with you. I gotta... Okay. People just do things? Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Seeing that, like, Kane Parsons made the Backrooms, or Squeaks DeCorge made Shipwreck 64 and is now making HI09, it's like, dude, I'm 24. It's actually over. I have to kill myself, man. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. He finally deserves. He is 20 years old. Kane Parsons has been trapped inside of a PS3. Please let me out, he says. He is 20 years old. engage me. You know, that's fair. I think a lot of people probably remember that, like, that one SCP that really hooked them. I should kill myself. Yeah, it's a wrap, dude. It's so fucking over. I could have gone to college, and yet I decided not to. Now I'm a fucking shit-tier Warframe YouTuber. It's really fucked, dude. It's really fucked. I will truly never amount to anything. Superior education. My YouTube, if you think this YouTube channel is, like, successful in a grand sense, I have bad news for you. This shit barely pays the bills, dude. This shit barely pays the bills. I'm too old cliche. When you have people that are, like, 18 making the... Dude, Kane Parsons made the first episode of Backrooms when he was, like, 16. I don't have to wait till I'm 30 for it to be fucking over. Where is Gopher? Coffee shops. I mentioned before, I've studied for my CCNA, but I'm not gonna lie, I've just lost so much motivation to actually get it. With, like, how much AI is taking over the tech sector. Like, I know all the course material. I could tell you a lot about the topics on the CCNA. I think network engineering is a fascinating topic in general. And I loved learning about it. But, dude, I just don't know if I want to pay $350 for the certification for a job that's, like, on the decline because of AI bullshit. I don't think you're missing out. Yeah, dude, it's fucked. Man, I love network engineering, though. I can't talk about this on stream. People will find it super fucking boring, but I love learning how the internet works. I don't understand why. I think the problem is it's, like, AI hype. Companies are trying to replace jobs that cannot be replaced because AI, like, makers promise them that they can. Like, I'm sorry, picking up the phone and having an AI attendant when you called a call center is the new version of getting, like an automated voice. It's basically the same shit. I don't want to talk to a robot still holds true, right? It still holds true. Dude, this Babao just massively screwed me over. Can you fucking die, maybe? Of course he had to be a fucking leech, dude. Fuck everything. There we go. Repair a death machine? Dude, it's so fucking over. It's so fucking over. Aaron Broski? Yeah, dude, it's so fucked. I will say, though, even if I can't find a job because of AI, I can at least enjoy things, right? Like I like studying network engineering because I find it interesting. That's like the primary thing, right? I think it's cool to learn about how the internet works and all the weird workarounds that were developed over the years for interesting problems. Like, the entire existence of spanning tree protocol is so interesting to me. And in terms of how it exists as a bizarre byproduct of how we designed Ethernet switches. And how it's like it's like a necessary evil. It's very interesting. Who fixes the AI? Yeah, dude, it's like... So my cousin, I have a cousin who has been a software engineer for most of my life. Like, he got into the field when he was 18. This dude was incredibly successful. Like, indoor pool in his house levels of successful. He moved to Florida. He was working as a senior. Dude, AI took his job. He had to move back with my family in Iowa. He couldn't find a new job for like 6 months. This guy has been a programmer for like most of my life. He's the oldest cousin on that side of the family. He's been a programmer for like nearly 20 fucking years, and he couldn't keep his job. I think that's fucking insane. It really made me realize just how dire things are for, like, that industry in particular. I don't know if there are many industries that have it worse than programmers with the AI thing. It's really, really bad. Just the job market being shitty because the economy is shitty. That's not entirely true. AI is still a big driving factor. I mean, my cousin was straight up told that was why he was losing his job, was that AI was, you know, replacing a large part of their team. It depends on your industry. Some places it's hard to find a job because the job market's shitty. That's true. But in the tech sphere especially, it's a pretty common reason to lose your job, unfortunately. But AI cannot take my joy and whimsy from me. I will always have that. I get assaulted by crazy people. Are you like... I'm gonna be honest, Wally. I imagine you're like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Maybe without the racism. But you, like, go and just, like, beat people up. morally opposed to using it. Yeah. Also, learn AI tools, dude. What's there to fucking learn? You type a thing into a fucking chat box. Like, thank you for the 10 months of membership, NSA.
You exist to strike.
It's a weird thing, too. They come to me? Oh, okay. And fair enough, fair enough. But when it comes to, like the AI tools, there are some AI tools that are helpful. I want to clarify, I am not referring to generative AI. I think that generative AI, in like the overwhelming majority of cases, is not a good thing. Image generation, text generation, voice synthesis, all that stuff, generally speaking, pretty fucking bad. There aren't that many legitimate use cases for them, in my opinion, that aren't the justification of just replacing human labor, right? But when you look at things like AI analytics, in terms of like using AI to learn about like how a network operates, to detect changes, like AI-powered intrusion prevention systems, for example, that's got a lot of interesting applications. Predictive AI for the medical field, for like discovering things in X-rays that are like patterns in X-rays that are not visually detectable by doctors, but the AI can discover them. There's interesting applications for things like that. But I think that a lot of the sort of cultural zeitgeist surrounding AI in general is generative AI, and that's what's pushing a lot of the, you know, mass construction of data centers and that kind of deal, right? It's a complicated thing, obviously, in terms of it's a very polarizing topic. Maybe we're getting too far into the politics thing with this again, but I will say, like, for me personally, right, in terms of the things I make, nothing on this channel is going to be produced with AI, because the things I make are my videos. I don't want to take that from myself. There was a very interesting video I saw that I'd recommend giving a watch if you've got like 20 minutes. It was called Getting Over It is About AI. And it was someone talking about getting over its themes as a game, in terms of like getting over it being a video game that talks about the creative process. That's what its narrative is like actually about. The entire thing is an allegory for the creative process and the difficulties of actually seeing an idea through to fruition. And sort of the thing that they talked about at the end was like, imagine if there was an elevator at the very beginning of Getting Over It that you could just ride to the top. You skip all of the work, but the elevator never opens. You never really won. Your idea, if it's in the elevator, right, it's never really being shown to the world as you intended. It's always on some level going to be filtered through what the machine's interpretation of your idea is. And I think that that was a very interesting reading of the game, of like, in the age of AI, the way that the allegory works it has some interesting way that you can read into. I don't know. It was a very interesting topic, for sure. It's the same with, like, Angel Engine being an AI-generated series, and the sort of weird meta-narrative that you could really easily see it as a criticism of AI, but it's almost like the creator is weirdly oblivious to this fact. Such a flop. Angel Engine is super popular on TikTok, and I'm not gonna lie, like, so Angel Engine has a narrative with some meat on its bones. There's some interesting ideas that are in Angel Engine's narrative. The problem is that the AI-generated elements of it massively damaged the series. Like, the one episode they did that was with a real artist is so much better than the others, it's not even fucking close. It's not even fucking close. What Syandana is that? It is called Sovereign. It is a Tenno-gen Syandana. Sorry, I've been yapping. I need to fucking take a drink. Holy shit. Ow. You enjoy doing the most? I just see the follow-up just, that is the basis for cuckoldry if you think about it. Dude, I don't want to outsource any part of the process, not just to AI, but to other people. Like, I've told people, like, I hate editing voiceovers, and they were like, well, just have someone else do it. And it's like, I don't want to subject someone else to that. What the fuck? No. On my monitor? That's traumatizing. I hope you survive. No AI, thankfully. It's weird, too, because, like, they're self-aware. they're self-aware that the AI is a problem, but it seems like they just don't appear to get rid of it, to my knowledge at least. Even after the Wendigoon video talking about how they need to just cut the AI out of it, I believe there is still AI in some of the newer episodes. I haven't watched the series that almost at all, like, since my initial go-through of it. I think it was like an Anthony Gallego live stream or something where I first saw the series in its completion. I think that was where I first watched it. I don't use TikTok, so I didn't see it on the platform. It's so cool. Shit does go hard, for sure. Making the best content possible. That's like the shitty reality of it, yeah. Because like there's interesting stuff there in terms of like the like I said, like with the narrative, even if it is honestly kind of a mess. Like there is that one moment, I can't remember the exact context, but there was like the line of like when Jesus was up on the cross, had he not achieved everything he had set out to do? And it's like, damn dude, for a series that's this mid, this line goes fucking crazy. How to find it, Trotty. Step 1, travel back to the 90s. Step 2, find the hex. Step 3, sex. Dude, the way the characters talk in Angel Engine pisses me off. It's so awful to listen to. And the fucking, like, warped Lavender Town music in the background, dude, it's so fucking tacky. Please select destination. With AI, well, kind of, as far as I'm aware, a lot of that isn't just them, like, backing off of AI, but kind of, like, de-emphasizing it, but a lot of the integration still exists. Jimmy's in the chat. Welcome, Lady Xena. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're excited for, Garuda Proto-Frame tomorrow. Getting closer and closer. Dude, studies suggest that an alarming amount of the internet has been taken over by AI. Like, we're actually reaching the point where there are AI making posts that are just AI commenting and like this weird feedback loop. In the algorithm? Yeah, I see that. Get everything off the rip. Fair enough, good strategy, good strategy. Go to my fuck-ass job. I thought you were unemployed again, Iron. What the fuck? You turncoat? Everyone here. Welcome, everyone.
Because if you don't blast the build up fast enough, you don't learn what hell is like.
For the Kim system, yeah, I do remember that. And I will say, like, if you're a localizer, like that's your job, and you're using ChatGPT, you probably shouldn't be a translator. It's called LinkedIn, dude. LinkedIn has always been a place where, like, I think everyone on there is like an actual insane person. Even here, it do be like that. My apologies. My apologies. Maybe we're edging too far into the reminding people about the horrors of the world thing again. For an exam. Good luck. I believe in you. Break this shit. Before AI, yeah. Like I said, I feel like LinkedIn is just like, dude, people will literally be like, recently I had gay sex. And I was the bottom. And it really taught me a lot about bringing a new product to market. You know, like, having my boyfriend finish inside me was really like finishing that new product pitch and getting to see it come to fruition. You know, really building that first prototype. I'm just saying bullshit, dude. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Just aw. I'm just, you know, I'm LARPing as a LinkedIn person, as a LinkedIn, that shit, dude, there's no fucking clip feature on YouTube anymore. You're powerless. You're powerless. Clip it with what, motherfucker? You're powerless. What, go get Ledge Hater if that's what you really want. Algorithm 2, right? I don't know how widespread the problem is on YouTube. I've got no idea. To find a job. Yeah, I have never really used LinkedIn seriously. It's not worth engaging with. To get your attention, the second monitor. Yeah. If anyone's listening to this in the background, I'm going to just show a picture of like a hot dude on the screen in 5 seconds. So you have 5 seconds. Switch back. You have 5 seconds. Sorry. Universe speak, do you listen? Most normal LinkedIn posts. We have screen record. Yeah, that's not very easily shareable. You have to upload it on your own channel. That's cumbersome. And waiting, I feel so. Yeah, you were baited. You were baited. I just wanted to remind you that this stream has a visual component. You were baited. Just where? For some professions. Honestly, dude, at that point, I'm changing careers. I'm fucking changing careers. Oh, okay, there it is. Back to Lurky I go then. I'm sorry. Don't worry. I'll do it again, but I won't announce it next time, so then you won't see it. That's what's gonna happen. What Cool Kid just said. Are you trying to invoke the Turkish or Argentinian metas? I'm about a Jade Light. We got gay baited. I think the term is queer baiting. Hot man event. This is baited. Why is old man Tesh even there? He's the old thingy bob, as a Critis called him. Doing a third comp so you're safe? Thank fuck. We can't have more shit like that end up in those compilations. Did the Dante incident end up in either of those? I don't remember. The Dante incident was pretty bad looking, I'm not gonna lie. The Dante incident was pretty bad looking. That reflected poorly on my character. I shouldn't have said what I said about that. Kind of like surveying the shareholders? Exactly, Idan. Now you're thinking like a real LinkedIn user. Now you know what you're talking about. The Dante incident? Okay, thank God you weren't there for the Dante incident. Hey, slut, cool kid here. Okay, now I have to explain this. I think that someone asked me like what Warframe I would date, and as a joke I said like Dante. And I was like, Dante, you could, if you date him, then like his overguard can protect you from STDs. And someone was like, do you really need the overguard? Like if you're if you're both like monogamous. It's like, well, it also protects me from getting pregnant, dumbass. And me saying that the overguard keeps you from getting pregnant immediately got clipped. So that one's pretty bad looking. I'm sorry, the hey slut cool kid here does not hold a candle to the Dante thing. It looks so much worse. It looks so much worse. Or a real one. I remember someone posted to Meme Frame a screenshot of like my profile picture in a suit, and it was accompanied with the quote, "There is nothing more masculine than gooning to men," which, to be fair, is a thing I did say. But there was someone in the comments that was like, I don't know if I'd like this guy. He seems like he's very much like a femboys, like gay is his only kind of humor streamer. And I'm like, damn, dude. He's like, no, that's not true. But I can see why he would get that impression. He thinks like the average fucking VTuber humor. That's rough, dude. I have more jokes than that, thank you very much. I also joke about killing myself. Dude, that's probably it. Okay, actually, maybe he was right. Never mind. Maybe he was right. Maybe he was right. I'm leaving then. Look, it's only not true that it's the only thing I joke about. I never said I didn't joke about it. That's a joke? Only, dude, haha, sometimes. Fucking quite the selection. My humor is very robust. My humor is very robust. Have I killed an acolyte? Yeah, I have, for sure. Could not remember. Might as well pick this up. I'll expand my amount of jokes. Don't worry, we'll get somewhere. I'll get somewhere in life. It'll be fine. Like getting a mag bubble off you. I don't think it works like that, but status immunity, that's a different story. Fun Easter egg, if you hit Jade with Titania Spellbind, the status immunity makes her not pregnant anymore. Her belly just goes to normal. Don't try it. You just have to trust me on this one. But if Jade gets status immunity, she loses the kid. I'm just saying. But yeah, pregnancy is a status effect. Pregnancy is a status effect. At least someone here gets it. Dude, where the fuck am I going? What is my waypoint doing? What is happening? Hello? Status effect tier list. Am I what? Hello? What is happening to me right now? Did I go the wrong? I think I'm losing my fucking mind. I have to lock in. Hold on. I have to lock in. I gotta leave this fuck ass mission, dude. I just went the complete wrong way. Come on. Dude, why is this fucking area so long? What kind of fucking mall is this that it's this fucking long? Ooh, beer. Time to drive, baby. Time to drive. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. That is effective given how you get the charger. Maybe, maybe. Expedite the pregnancy by investing in a negative duration. Okay, there is also expedite suffering, as well as like sickening pulse. Those might also work. To be determined. To be determined. Still 500 Skullger troops, dude. Fuck my chud life. Practice precision. Yeah, harden up is the easy pick here for sure. Dude, I don't fucking want any of these items. Would hurt a lot. I mean, yeah, but like, would it speed up the pregnancy? Like, you know, it condenses all pregnancy stacks and then you instantly just give birth immediately. Is that how that works? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Does it make you give birth 75% faster? Maybe. Dude, fuck it. I'm just gonna stay on Hildren. Type of place. I actually agree with you there. I remember.
Each enemy
What is the gayest state?
only with true mastery of the
There are a lot that I think could be considered quite gay. That's kind of a hard question. But yeah, with the mall thing, sorry, I was looking for your messaging to make sure that I was interpreting it correctly. I remember. So, fun cool kid fact. When I first moved out of my parents' house, I worked for DoorDash for a few months. Pretty shitty gig, I didn't make very much money. But I remember a guy ordered a pretzel, and the pretzel place was in a mall. And I went there in like the middle of the day on like a Thursday. And I remember walking into that mall, and I shit you not, including people working, I counted 5 other people in the entire mall. Because the pretzel place was at the back end of the mall, so I had to walk through the entire thing. And I just started like making a mental note of like, okay, how many people are in here with me? 5 people. It was such a strange experience walking through a mall that was that empty. There's a mall where I live now that has like some business, but it's still like half its stores are shuttered. And like I remember back in like 2019, I went to a mall. Or no, it was early 2020, I think, like right before COVID hit, and this stuff all got shut down. I went to a mall in Des Moines, because I still lived in Iowa at the time, and it was really busy. There were like a lot of people there. But dude, I think the pandemic just fucking killed malls, honestly. It just killed malls. Rolling giant mall experience? True. You give birth to 10 kids. I like to think that pregnancy stacked, it's like how many, like each month you gain a new stack, and then once you're at 9 stacks, like by the time you reach the 10th one, right? The 10th stack then is like blast detonations, that's when you give birth. Like each month you get 1 new stack, right? And then, you know, 10 stacks, that's when it's over. I think that's the penis interpretation. Just killing multiple. I mean, online shopping has really hurt brick and mortar stores a lot in general, to be honest. Especially stores like, I don't know, like sporting goods places and stuff I feel like aren't as effective. But like clothing stores I know have been hit pretty hard. Stores like Dillard's have been hit pretty hard by that kind of thing. How do you account for twins? You have 2 separate instances, maybe? I don't know. Okay, twins is like, it's like a low random chance for the effect to be amplified. Wait a minute, I know, I have it. The hit that inflicted the pregnancy was a crit. Twins are crits. Triplets, orange crit. Quadruplets, dude, red crit. I figured it out. Twins are crits. House status, baby. You gain status reduction. 100% status chance per shot. I think that would naturally make you, like, progress the pregnancy faster. Baby inherit. Quintuplet meta. What about multi-shot? I don't know. Just like if it's the stacks progress, like if the stacks of the effect progress your pregnancy, then naturally more status like chance and stuff would just mean that you have more stacks of the effect. So you would just be giving birth sooner, right? Like 3 exclamation points? True. Dude, I think this makes sense. I think this makes sense. New Warframe status effect. Pregnancy. That reminds me of one of the worst chat messages I've ever received, where someone just asked in the chat, what's the female version of mpreg? That message lives in my head rent fucking free, dude. You have no idea. I was like, I think I literally just said, that's just pregnancy, you bumbling fucking idiot. That one was fucking funny, I'm not gonna lie. That shit was hilarious. What's the female version of mpreg? Insane quote. Giving birth faster. Yeah, you gotta get that one out so you can have the next one put in, Idan. That's the method. Dude, I'm saying some horrible shit. Reasons why Cool Kid isn't a Warframe partner. Example number 400,000. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Robo. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Did someone? Yeah, someone did say that. I think it was a joke, obviously, but like, What is mpreg? Don't ask. Don't ask. Don't look it up. Don't ask what is mpreg. You don't want to know. Reddit. I don't like that. I don't like thinking about it like that. Well, I gotta blow this guy up real quick. It's misery. No, do not look up mpreg. Do not look up mpreg. It's not worth it. Trust me. M stands for minions. No, Jade being a woman. That's fucking hilarious. I think people use the term fempreg. I think that one's funny. Like, wrapping around into calling it fempreg and, like, in relation to mpreg, dude, that's fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. That's so goddamn funny. I wonder, my desk is, like, across from my front door in this apartment. Do you guys think my neighbors can hear me talking about this? I certainly hope they can. They'll probably think I'm a fucking nut job. Then there's thempreg. Dude, we found the holy trinity. Mpreg, fempreg, and thempreg. I don't already contain, you get a medal. You know, that's fair. That's fair. You know what sucks? I could probably find something if I really wanted to. They, thempreg. Let's get the ball rolling. There's something here. Someone cooked here. Dude, have we had a single shuttling this entire stream? I haven't really noticed. Spectral Serration Drop isn't that rare? Not terribly. I think I have quite a few of them. Neja low-key? Maybe? Hold on. How many Spectral Serrations do I have? 11. I guess that is fairly rare if I only have that few. Also, what Warframes do you think could conceive? I'm sorry, dude. It's Sevagoth Prime. It's Sevagoth Prime. Are you telling me? Do it like a blank fashion? Like, brother. So that guy who said that maybe I was like a Gooner streamer, I'm proving him right. I gotta shut the fuck up. I gotta move on to something else. I can't keep going on with this joke. I can't keep going on with this joke. It's gonna make it so much worse. It's gonna make it so much worse. Oh my word. How long have we been live? Almost 3.5 hours? Our Gooter streamers? Look, I can make jokes all I want. I don't goo into Warframe characters, okay? I swear on my life. I do not goon to Warframe characters. These are unfounded accusations. Let's go visit Wally. I almost went to the dojo.
Ordis keeps
Go
a
visit
tidy
Wally.
ship, and is
Yet you
therefore
play a
reluctant
gooner
to
game?
allow
Okay,
enemies on
B Ghost. Really, an example of the pot calling the kettle black on this one. Genshin Impact player. I had to work on you into this somehow, B. I'm sorry. Every time you step out of line, I gotta bring your wife into this. We are not the same. Unsubbing. That's crazy. Pot calling the kettle gay. That's such a simple joke, but it's still funny. Okay. This will be our, that I play Gooner games. You know, that's fair. I mean, I don't hide it either if you consider Warframe a Gooner game. It's my fucking job. But this will be our lurker moment. If you've just been hanging out, you know, haven't been saying much, if I could get a hi Wally from you in the chat, just to know that you're here and that you're you know, alive. And it's also good to let Wally know that we appreciate him, right? We have to greet him. It's customary. It's like the concept of hope. Idan, you're a degenerate, and you should be put down like a dog. Thank you for the hi Wallies. I know he appreciates it. I have free will. It's common courtesy. It's common courtesy. Do you not greet someone when you see them? That's so fucked. That's so fucked. Dude, I gotta put the Ransona back on.
Operator, do you know which finger the corpus used to count their money? The index.
I gotta put the Ransona back on. My jerking off. Crazy work? Spitting bullshit? Oops, I fucking smacked my microphone. Where's Spurred Maruda? Gone. The debate is over? Yeah, bad news, everyone. Holy shit, Kulka, did you just now realize what the thumbnail was? Dude, no one's gonna get it, but like the 5 people that do will think it's funny. That's what matters. What if I put Chroma into a Cotherix thumbnail next? Dude, there's this image. If I shown the image of a Caro Shadow Scale and just a robot, dude, it is like the most terminally online thing. Like, if you understand the image, it's a problem, but oh my god, it's so fucking funny. Hold on. Shit, dude, where did I post this? I don't know where I saved this to. Please tell me I can just find it by searching for it. Fuck, dude, I can't find it. Okay, okay, fuck, this is a TikTok video? Are we fucking serious? It's one of those things where, like, if you understand it, you're actually... I think that you're actually just, like, brain rotted. But I can't find the fucking image. I know I sent it to my friend Phoenix, because they knew who the people involved were, but I don't know if I sent it to them in DMs, or if I sent it to them, in, like, a VC chat. Dude, fuck it. We're just clicking on the TikTok video. Mute tab. Do not play this shit. I need to just see if what I need to happen happens. Dude, okay. This is gonna be so fucking scuffed. There's a particular slice of this that I need. There's a particular slice of this that I need. You're gonna have to just deal with this. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to deal with this. This is the best I can do. This is the best I can fucking do. This is the best I can do. Kill a Victorian era, man. Dude, this is gonna be so low resolution. Hold up. Hold up. It's so low resolution, dude. This fucking... Okay, if any of you in this chat understand this, I'm sorry. The fact that I understand this is a problem. Oh, god damn it. Windows didn't want to save it. Hold on. It's on my clipboard still, I think. Of the hot guy picture. I respect that. I respect that. Come on, just fucking export the thing. Actually, hold on. Yeah, I didn't think I fucking had it on my computer. Most of my memes are on my phone. Okay. You're just gonna have to ignore the TikTok text along the bottom. We're working with what we have, okay? We're working with what we have. No, I swear to God, I need you to export this, Gimp. This is fucking ridiculous. Why is it taking me so long to show a goddamn meme? Okay, if you understand this image, I'm sorry for you. This image, when I first saw this meme, this fucking slayed me. There are so many layers to why this is funny, and if you understand it, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry if you understand this image. But I just have to point out, the image in the background of Codebricks next to Epstein is so fucking funny. This is like the greatest detail you could have possibly hidden in the background of a meme like this. Holy fuck. It's so funny. Oh my god. That shit is peak. Again, I'm sorry if you understand that shit. You're worse off if you do. That's just the simple truth. What's this? Oh, it's the live Sisyphus reaction. Disturbed individual, put them in jail. It took 2 billion psychological damage. Dude, I fucking warned you. I warned you. I only recognized Epstein. In defense of Revenant mains. Dude, I'm sorry. Achilles Argyle's Why We Need Racism video is a fucking masterpiece. It's so funny. I'm still in the abyss. Dude, Achilles Argyle's the Why We Need Racism video, like, I don't think people understood they were getting rage baited. Like, I feel like it's so obviously a joke, especially when you look at his Twitter account after the fact. Would you be willing to explain the joke to the masses? No. There's way too much lore for this to be explained succinctly. He's serious. He puts his feet up on the table and they have a visible green miasma during the video. I'm sorry, I don't think he's being serious. I do not think that Achilles Argyle is being serious. There are some, like, furry commentary channels that I have discovered, when it comes to the rabbit hole of the rant sonas. I think that they're, interesting thing to catalog, right? Like, there's this one guy. Hold on, where do I have the political compass thing still? I know that Evelyn sent me this image. I don't know where I put it. Hold on. What the fuck is this? Okay, hold on. Yeah, this image. I know that people are gonna be like, God damn it, he's fucking showing this again. Yeah, I know. This image. This guy. Right here. Esoteric the Free. This dude got banned from YouTube for his conspiracy theories, but there is a mirror of them, and I'm not gonna lie, all his videos fucking suck. They're just, like, really, like, I mean, they're, like, far-right conspiracy theories, but there's nothing funny about them, right? There's nothing funny about them. I was very disappointed. Achilles Argyle set too high of a bar, honestly. He set too high of a bar with Why We Need Racism. Heading out. Farewell, Chroma. I should probably wind the stream down here before too long, but it's really funny. It's an interesting combination, for sure, of Genesius Wolf. Dude. Genesius Wolf has, like, purged his online presence, dude. You can't find anything about that anymore. It's pretty fucked. Can't wait for the story. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. I plan on streaming the update, and my hope is that it'll breathe a lot more life into, like, my my work ethic. I've been kind of bored with the game lately, like I mentioned at the start of the stream. So I'm hoping that, grinding out the update on stream and stuff Will be a fun time. Will be a fun time. Yeah, Blue Neptune, baby. Blue Neptune. Is that though still here? I think that he left. No point in showing biblically accurate Neptune, right? And your stuff in the background? That's not mine. It's a dog toy, and it's Wally's. Thank you very much. Sadly, I'm still here. Never should have admitted it. Never should have come here. I'm getting it right fucking now. I'm getting it right fucking now. Boom. At the Golfa Cuck room. Just Velcroed onto the suit. That's quite the assumption that A, I'm a furry at all, and that B, I would know the inner workings of this. I'm so tired of you, cool kid. Dude, the lighting's still fucked! How am I supposed to witness the masterpiece I created in here? Dude, during Pride Month even? What the fuck? What the fuck? After escape. Okay, what if you make Latrox Un your on-call and then call him in during a Deimos bounty? Does that work? You've ruined us both. Dude, what else do I have in my folder? Hold on, there's some bangers in here. Who else unleashing their goon? Oh, that's this image. The lesbian pose. This one's off-center for some reason. We have this fucking certified hood classic. This image. I think Wisp drew a cool kid version of this. I should use that. Golfagore PNG? Oh yeah, this one hits. Job application. Autism announcement. This one's just called Freaks. Oh yeah, that's the thing from Victor. Dude, these PC builds. I still have these in here. Iconic. This is just called Gooning2.png. Oh yeah, this image. I have it in here to explain why this exists. Crocodile explosion gif. That one goes hard. We have the dancing pug. I didn't realize I still had that. Did you guys fucking see that? Did you guys That wasn't even scripted, dude. That just actually happened naturally. Did you guys see that? Did you guys fucking see that? What was that? What the fuck was that, dude? Dude, the fucking auto-translate. The Graphite Corey typed in the chat chud, and auto-translate is changing it to the word pussy. I have to hover over the message to see what it originally said. How do I turn this dog shit feature off? Please. We weren't done. I'm sorry. The channel was pretty inactive at that point. A YouTube poop confirmed. Dude, we need a new stream bit channel name. It's still Dark Golfalore. We gotta find something new. But it has to be natural, dude. We can't force it. It's gotta be like a natural evolution of the bit. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be a natural evolution of the bit. I honestly don't think it ever got better than Warframe, or than the, Venus Ice Mystery. The Neptune Wars were also pretty peak, though. I also quite liked the Neptune Wars. Golfagore is probably the most iconic, though. I think the Golfagore channel is probably the most iconic. You know what's funny? When people talk about, like, Reroute and the Sprodling form, people actually get confused because they're so used to calling it the Chudling now. You know, I can look. Do we want to see what the AI-generated suggestions are from YouTube? Hold up. Let me put the shit on the big screen for myself real quick. Let's look. What does YouTube have as the AI-generated suggestions? What bullshit does it have for me today? I gotta find some funny stuff. Reading your worst hot takes about the new damage rework. Well, that didn't even happen, so... all of these titles are super long. Breaking down the secret cooldowns of hidden weapon passives? What the fuck are you talking about? Reading your hot takes about viral heat zealots versus elemental weakness. What? Testing every Arcwing passive interaction that Amisha breaks or disables. This is just pulling shit from, like, my comments section, I think. Tactical fashion guide? Why Arcwing is secretly Warframe's most technically sophisticated game system. Huh? Breaking boss damage caps with Necro Soul Punch. That's just not a thing. Exploiting frame rate dependent damage scaling on rapid fire beam weapons? This doesn't... What? That was a Destiny bug. I'm pretty sure that was a Destiny glitch. Breaking new high difficulty content using obscure Sharkwing movement animations. What are we talking about here? Why Clan Railjack PvP was a technical design nightmare? That doesn't exist! Soloing high difficulty bosses using only Mastery Rank 18 non-incarnate gear. Okay. Be invested into this system thanks to you. Fuck, dude. God damn it. Dude, this thing is actually like, this motherfucker's part of the 9. He's seeing all these possible futures and just giving them the bullshit to me. Also, all these titles are, like, full-on sentences. This is so fucking stupid. This feature's so dog shit. They ain't cooking. Okay, the K-Drive Capybara was kind of funny, though, low-key. Was real, it's gone out. Yeah, but that's not Railjack PvP. Like, I remember Dark Sector PvP. The K-Drive Capybara. Yeah, so YouTube's auto AI feature just randomly hallucinated that there was a glitch called the K-Drive Capybara. It just made that up. Was Venus Ice Mystery? Venus Ice Mystery was funny because it's a mystery even to me. I still don't know what it was talking about. There was a whole saga of trying to find out and everything. What even is the Venus Ice Mystery? Dude, I don't fucking know. I don't. Do you have insomnia? Yes. I imagine it's not difficult to tell, considering I'm live streaming at 3:45 in the fucking morning. I should probably go ahead and shut this bitch down. Turn the stream off, dude. Fucking kill the feed. Inside the Orican dig site? Potentially. Goodbye, cool kid. Good night. Farewell, Idan. I think I'm gonna go ahead and kill the stream now. It's gone too far. Thank you all for joining for whatever this bullshit was. This was a very bad stream. I'm sorry. I should just delete this one low key. But thank you all for coming. VOD playlist is in the description if you want to watch more dog shit. Discord is in the description if you want to suffer like a brain hemorrhage, because that's probably what's going to happen, to be honest. Jade Shadow's Constellation stream tomorrow, and then we kind of just go from there. You just don't want this one getting clipped? No, I don't, Ledge Hater, because I said things like Overguard blocks pregnancy, and that Twins is getting critted, okay? There's bad shit in this one. People can't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you all for watching. Remember to brush your teeth twice a day. And I'll see you